Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I am so glad that this weekend is what it is. I have been, and I don't know, and Ruben can speak to this when we let him talk, but and we will let him talk. Believe me, I'm not going to go 2.5 hours and not have him say something. Exactly. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I've been up watching live streams this morning, and I tell you what, you talk about a very chill, mellow sort of mood that everybody seems to be in. Yes, there's things swirling around the world, events in the Middle East, events in Europe, etc. But for one weekend, we, the American people, by and large, are going to tune that out. We're going to get together with families as much as we can. We're going to have fun. And, that's what this stream is all about. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. This is my colleague and partner in crime, Ruben Christopher Haynes. And we are here having... Oh, whoa, hang on. I screwed something up. I boomered already. There we go. Got that taken care of. All right, we're going to hang out. This is our very first ever Black Friday stream. And we're just getting together and hanging out and having fun. And believe it or not, we've already got a guest in the background. So this is going to be cool. We've invited a bunch of people. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. I don't want her sitting back there thinking we're ignoring her, bless her heart. One of my favorite ladies from the South, one of the funniest people I've ever run into, Miss Tracy Barkley, otherwise known as the hostess of Keto and Crime. How you doing, Tracy?
Good. How are you? I hope I'm not arriving at a bad time.
No. It's like I told you, dear. Arrive when you want to, stay as long as you want. This has got to be one of the more casual live streams that I'm ever going to host. Because it's like I said before you got here, there's stuff swirling around the world. We all know this. However, this is that weekend. We get together. We love each other. We give thanks. We eat more food than we should. In Ruben's case, I know that he is going in the other direction. Oh, you did not. Oh, well, we'll get to that shortly, folks. Hang on. We have news updated. So, yeah, we're just tally ho. No, I don't care what you say. Tally is not a hoe. I don't care what was written on that bathroom wall stall anywhere. Exactly. That was the look on my face I had, Ruben, when I saw that news. I was like, what? You can't say this about Tally. She's definitely not that. But anyway, we're hanging out. This is a day. Let me tell you, for folks out there that are watching this, here is basically the gist of this live stream. We're going to get together. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about our Thanksgivings. We're going to talk about family traditions and current traditions that we are engaging in. And we're just otherwise going to talk about, have fun. We're going to talk about Black Friday, the stories, the war stories, good and bad. The scars on our elbows from where we knocked some little old lady out of the way trying to grab that last item on the shelf just to make sure she couldn't get it. And, Granny's still holding a grudge against all of us because of the fact that, she didn't get it and we did. And every time we go to a store now, we have to watch out for her because she's going to put a shank into our back. So, there's going to be stories good and bad. Now, Ruben, don't you shake your head. You've done this. You've done this to some little old lady going out shopping somebody on Black Friday. You have.
My mother has. I never have. She did anything to get me a Cabbage Patch Kid and then later a strawberry shortcake doll.
Oh my word! Well, I tell you what, let's take it around the horn. Tracy, tell us about your Thanksgiving. What'd y'all do? Tell us about family traditions. Just lay it all out for us. Just go wherever you want.
Well, we were kind of lazy yesterday. It was just the three of us around the house. We drank wine all day. We went and picked up Chinese food because nobody wanted to cook. We had Chinese food and watched Christmas movies all day, believe it or not. And saw a couple of brand new Christmas movies that are on Netflix. One was really, really good. Well, it wasn't even a Christmas movie. It's the movie Leo with Adam Sandler and the voices of Adam Sandler and Bill Burr. It's one of the best, like, Pixar-ish movies you'll ever see. It's so funny. So I definitely recommend that. And then we saw this other one called Best Christmas Ever with Brandy and Jason Biggs. That one wasn't so good, but other than that, it was really fun.
Very cool. All right, now let's talk about family here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that, while eating General Tso's yesterday or whatever it was you're having, surely the mind lapsed back to Thanksgivings gone before. So what kind of traditions did your family have? What kind of things went on? Who did the cooking? Who was doing the cleaning? What were the specialty items? Yada yada yada.
Well, if I went back as far as childhood, it would be everybody would go to one of my aunt's houses, and like everybody would bring a dish. Like, they would tap off, you bring this, you bring that, and it was always kind of a potluck Thanksgiving. Uh, that and then as I got out of the house, I went to college, was in the military, and then went to college, and then got out on my own. We had a friendsgiving because most of the time I had a job, I couldn't go home for an entire weekend, so we would just all show up at somebody's house, and everybody would bring something. And then now that I'm married, and we have our my wife's mother living, we all kind of cohabitate. Normally, my wife's mother would do all the cooking, but she didn't want to cook, so that's the reason we did Chinese.
Okay, good enough. So back to childhood. What was the specialty item? What was the one thing that some family member bought? Like your mouth starts watering at the thought, I get to eat this. I know they're coming, and I know they're bringing it. What is it?
There were two things. One was my mother's baked beans, and I have tried to imitate those many times during my life, even with her recipe, and they never taste the same. I don't know what she did, but I just remember how good those are. Those were it had hamburger meat, it had green peppers, red peppers, onion, bacon. It was just so good. I don't know if it was just she stuck her finger in it, and that's what made it taste so good. But I can't imitate those, no matter what I attempt to do. And my Aunt Judy did a chicken casserole. I know that sounds weird, but it was just a basic Southern chicken casserole that was so good, and I look forward to those every Thanksgiving. I've never been a big turkey fan, so I always look forward to the side dishes and the desserts than anything.
My mom is the same way when it comes to turkey. All things being equal, give her ham. Doesn't matter if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and I don't know if you have this in your area, but heavenly ham. They make the perfect. I mean, my sister has made ham before, and she's like the unofficial cook of the family. But my mom, she's all about the ham, not the turkey. But give her a ham, and she's just tickled to death. So yeah. So yeah, and I understand that thing about sticking your finger in as the sweetener, because I get that same thing. Somebody needs something like done in the kitchen. Hey, Brian, get over here. Put your finger in that. We need that sweetened up for just give it 2 fingers worth. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. So let's throw it up to my good friend Ruben. All right. Tell us about your Thanksgiving.
Well,
what went on? How you doing? No. What? No one ever. No one ever asked you to stick your fingers in something, sweeten it for them. I mean, what?
No, that was like no. Well, this Thanksgiving again. I since I'm by myself, I just I don't have anything right now. I ate the same food I've been making. So basically, I'm all Thanksgiving was being about grateful. So essentially, the food that I had made, or the last money I got coming in was in the beginning of the month, and I had to figure out how to stretch it, and I wanted to stretch it to the end of the year. So I basically made my food, and then I've been eating it slowly. So that's what I had at that. So I'm just grateful that I had food for the Thanksgiving. That's all I was. That's the most important thing. Usually when I'm growing up, basically I remember the fact that, my mother made the Thanksgiving dinner. And for me, it was, it had its good and bad points. The best point was the turkey and the stuffing and the mashed potatoes. The worst highlight was the cranberry, because again, I did not eat cranberries until the 90s, because my introduction to cranberry was canned cranberry, jellied. And I said, no, I'm not eating that crap because it's in a can. So I basically abhorred anything in a can. So anything that they made in a can, I just didn't like. And it turned back because one time I made the Thanksgiving dinner for them, and they said it was too rich. It was too it was too good. It was too like in their mouth. It just exploded in their mouth. And like an example of just the idea of what they didn't like, when I gave the cranberries, real cranberries, it was too tart to this. It wasn't the same. They wanted their jelly. Fine. And also, like, I made fresh orange juice from oranges.
Wow.
And they said it's too strong. So they basically took 1/4 of it and they put water. They watered it down to get it like it was how they like it. So it's good and bad. It's weird. But the tradition and Thanksgiving, started off when I was like around 5 or 4 years old, when basically my grandfather said, "Okay, who's going to say grace?" And I said grace, and then that's for up until 1990, I said grace every year after that, because I basically don't just say. I say I gave about a 15-minute thanks basically, and I basically would talk about the entire year. In January, this happened. In February, this happened, all the way to November. And then I would talk around each person in the room, what they did, their impact, and what we're thankful for, and then end the prayer. And he goes, you're doing it from now on. So that was basically it. That's the thing. That's the tradition we had. And then the last Thanksgiving we had is I went there in 96, I think, or 98, around there. And it was the last Thanksgiving that we all had. It was the 6 of us, my father, myself, 4 kids, and my grandmother, grandfather. And then that was it. And then he passed away in 2002, and then everyone started passing away, and then that was it. So by 2020, everyone else is gone. So I'm by myself, but I'm fine. I'm looking forward to again. I feel like the Cubs in a way, Chicago Cubs, when they didn't win a World Series. They say, wait till next year. Next year I'll have a better Thanksgiving with people. So I have that recipe ready to go. I love to cook. I do growing up. My mother did. Then when my mother, when I was 9 years old, I said, teach me how to cook. So I started cooking. So every single time I cooked with her, I did that. The highlight that my grandmother did that I loved was the pies, lemon meringue pie and pecan pie. And those were lemons and pecans from their trees that they had on their little house property. So it was basically from scratch, the way it should be, how you make food from scratch. Not just, not going out to a store, not going out to a restaurant, just doing, actually cooking, because that's the most important thing. If you got to take care of yourself, which I am, the first thing is you got to put your life into your own hands and know what you're putting in your mouth, know what you're putting in your eyes, know what you're putting in your ears. So, and again, the biggest thing was with my father, it was all about the football games. So that was basically we had to orchestrate it around his football, and then when the football started, that way he wanted to watch. And of course, I loved teasing him because I hated watching football. I still think it's dumb. But what I did with him is then anytime that he would cook something or do something, like a cookout, all that stuff, touchdown, touch me. We would say this, and then he was just running. We would just lie. I didn't want him. So see, you see how it is. And then he would, because he was so insistent on, look at this. Like, wait, what? I don't want to see this crap. Like, he was trying to get me involved. And I said, no. But I did when the last time I was with him, because he was my mother passed away in 2012, that Christmas time frame. I sat down with him, and I tolerated ESPN Sports Center for 6 months while he was recovering, and just watching, going, okay, just keep on, just watch it, just don't say anything until it's done. And it was over. It was like 4:30 to 6:30. It was done, so I can just relax and go somewhere else. But that's memories. The idea so that's the whole idea. Thanksgiving to me is more about the tradition of being thankful for what the year has, being thankful for what you have, and then looking forward to how you can improve upon that for the next year. And that's how it's always been for me. What can I improve of myself and do forward? And that's why, like last Thanksgiving, I was 520 pounds. And this Thanksgiving, I'm 345. So I'm dropping. And I'm still going to go down. And next year, I'll be even lower. So that's basically it. That's what I'm thankful for.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was 400 pounds 3 years ago, and now I'm under 250 for the first time in a long time. And I have about another 70 or 80 to go. Mm-hmm. But unlike you, I wasn't good yesterday. I ate pretty much what I wanted, and I'm kind of continuing that tradition.
That's the one thing I never understood, the whole idea. You can have a cheat day. Cheat day on what? I'm not cheating on anything. I've never been, because again, I get it. Classically, someone would see me going, oh, this guy eats McDonald's. And says, I don't like McDonald's. I don't like any fast food. I hate sweets. Any like Twinkies and cookies and all that bullshit you buy. Again, anything that's in a box, I don't like. I've never liked it. It's crazy. So if I know this, I'm going to have a beautiful, don't get me wrong, the pecan pie, the lemon pie, my wife would have made something called sans serval. It's basically egg whites and butter and cashews and sugar.
That's different.
But it's like eating a bar of sugared flavored egg whites with butter. That's it. It's pure
sounds
butter.
Like divinity in a way.
Yeah, it is. It is good. That basically the way you do it, the egg white, she would do like layers, like 5 or 10 different layers going up, and literally it's you basically you cook it and it's keep it cold, because as soon as it hits room temperature, the thing starts melting. And then, no, I'm serious. Then you take a slice of this Sancerval, put it in your mouth, and it melts in your mouth. It's like it's like sugar butter goodness, and it'll just like float down your throat. It's just crazy.
That recipe, that recipe sounds like proof of God's existence. I'm just saying,
and that's the other thing. That's the other thing. My sister has my mother's recipes, but I have my wife's recipes, and she would and during the Christmas time, when we were married, where we when she was still alive, I should say, not married. We're not. She did a side business. As I told her, my God, these are so good, sell these. So we bought the equipment. We went to Gordon Foods. We got everything, and I promoted her. We did all this stuff. So she had the beautiful cookies, and we just dressed everything up and all that stuff. And we give them as gifts and all that stuff. So it was a nice thing to do. So it's just basically. Sure. The whole idea that, you're putting your love into the food you're eating, you're putting into love of the season. And that's what I loved about it. So it's basically Thanksgiving is football, food, fun, and frolicking. Because the one thing that I did love, and that's with the one tradition we had, and my grandfather started, of all people, my grandfather started it. Because we had the large table, and the most we would have would be like the 6 of us, and then my grandfather, my grandmother, and then my grandmother's sister, my great aunt, and we'd sit there, and sometimes we'd have more, but we'd have this long table. So you can imagine like 10 people in a table, 4 and 4 and 2 in the center, and all that stuff. And then my grandfather or someone would ask for a roll, and we would toss like a football across the table. Hey, give me a roll. Grab it. It's like, what are you doing? It's like football. And then you got to put spin on it. You got to do this. You got to do that. So we're like throwing it's any time, but it was a whole thing. It's like you got to train you know how to throw a football. So then that's constantly the whole thing. And it'd be like, it's not pass me the rolls. It's pass me your roll. I mean, you put the hands up, so it'd be like
that is funny as all get out.
I know, but it's like that. And then of course you go, and then hand me the butter. It'd be hand me the butter, hand me the mashed potatoes. Can I have some this? Pass me your roll.
Oh my gosh!
And my mother was just like, if you break something, it's her fault. But
yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do at that point? Because
but nothing happened. Because again, my grandfather instituted it, which is funny. And then after my grandfather would finish, he's the one that would go to the piano, and because right where the tree would have been, but we didn't put it up yet. And then he would start playing polkas. And her biggest one, because again, he knows the German. It's German music is very close to mariachi music in the sense it's the same beat. So there's that same European style there. No, stuffing. It'd be like a big. Like, what happened to you?
Throw me some stuffing. Splat.
Yeah, but it was funny. And then his favorite one is "She's Too Fat for Me." That was his favorite thing. His favorite polka. Da, 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 da. She's too fat for me. Da, 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 da. And then we just play it around. We didn't do this stuff. So he had the piano, and that's where my music came from, because he had the record player there. And then after that, they'd start playing the Christmas music on the record player. They had that old style record player, the one that you'd open the top and drop it in and all that. It was all like high tech back then. Yeah, it did it by itself.
Yeah.
But so that was basically, and that's the thing I want to do. And that's why I am hoping I find someone else to do that with and have a tradition, because that's what I want to do. I want to have that tradition with a family. So that's that's my goal. So next year it may happen. That's why I'm going to get slim and trim and be ready for it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, my family's traditions of Thanksgiving kind of stretch out over decades and eras and locale. And here's what I'm getting at. And Tracy, you're going to understand this, and Ruben, you as well. Um, Probably about the mid 1980s, my father got a hold of our family's farm, or his family's farm, I should say. And to keep an eye on the place, because it's spread out over like 118 acres over 2 counties, my sister and my brother-in-law moved up there when they first got married, and they had a mobile home, put it on the property, no problem. Well, Thanksgiving was always a gathering at my sister and my brother-in-law's place. But being that it was the family farm, and given that my dad was very much the outdoorsman, he loved to hunt. And he tried to get his son involved. I mean, in the same way your dad was trying to get you involved in sports or watching sports and ESPN with him, my dad tried to get me into hunting. So when I was 10 years old, he bought me a 410 shotgun and took me out in the woods at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, 10-year-old me did not like being cold. 10-year-old me did not like my teeth chattering because I probably scared off every deer in the woods. And then on top of that, at some point, apparently I pointed the barrel down, tripped on something, and shoved enough mud halfway up the barrel that if I let the thing go, well, Dad cleaned it out, and obviously I didn't let anything go. So Thanksgiving and hunting usually went together in my family. The men would go out hunting, except for me, and that would leave my mom, my sister, and my grandmother in the kitchen together. Now, by themselves, they're beautiful, wonderful women. Together, yeah, yeah.
Egos.
yeah, among other things.
Yeah,
But
the women in my grandmother, my mom, my aunts, and we'd always go to like my dad's family. It would be like kind of a mutual gathering. They were all really sweet ladies, but they would get pissy and act like they wanted help, and you try to go into the kitchen and help them, and get out of here, get out of my way, let me do it, and you'd run into another room.
Oh yeah, and but for all of the friction that the three of them had together, my God, could they put on a spread? And I mean, and given that we grew up, my family grew up in the country, I'm the kid that grew up in the suburbs. They operated under the basic philosophy: we're going to make way more food than what we need for two reasons. One, you never know who's going to stop by. And number two, you are going to take food home to get you through the next 2 or 3 days. And that's how people in the country operate. And like I said, Tracy, you're going to speak to this probably as much as anybody. And Ruben, you're going to understand this being originally from Texas. So the men would go out in the woods and hunt, and the women would cook. Now, some of the specialty items in my family, my grandmother's sweet potatoes were just a touch of heaven. And the funny thing about my grandmother was, and by the way, Ruben, I love the way you're doing this because you want to find somebody to share the traditions with. Don't ever eat something that's so good that you don't figure out the recipe for how to make it. That's a piece of advice, folks, because let me tell you what my grandmother did. She would never tell anyone how she made something. Oh, shit. She just made it. And then when, bless her heart, she passed from this world, there we all are trying to figure out, well, how do you did it? Took my sister the better part of maybe 5 or 6 years after my grandmother passed to figure out how to make her sweet potatoes just the way they tasted, like my grandmother did when she was still able to cook. I mean, the last 10 years of her life, she wasn't contributing much to family dinners, which was fine. I mean, she'd earned the right. I mean, for everything that she'd ever, go ahead and show up. So it took my sister about probably 5 or 6 years after my grandmother's passing to get it just right. Well, the other specialty item that is in the family are deviled eggs. I am the inheritor of that tradition because somehow or another, I basically let it be known, I don't mind making the deviled eggs. I'll take a crack at it. Well, the first time I ever made them, at the risk of sounding immodest, they were so good. Everybody's like, that's it. You've got it from now on. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't volunteer. That doesn't matter. Shut up. You've got it. So now it's a thing where when my family members get together, they will look at me and go, where are the eggs? They won't say, hi, how you doing? They won't say, what's going on? Where are the eggs? They're in the fridge, and they'll just run in there and like, and it's I mean, to watch me make deviled eggs is the most you could probably make a comedy film off of the neurotic twitchiness method that I exercise when I'm doing this, because I won't let anybody else do it with me. I will taste test the mix until I think I'm there. I've got a wine, like Tracy's wine glass. I'll fill it full of water. I'll be like clearing my palate, with each taste test, and, plastic spoons everywhere and paper towels, flying all over the house. It's just a bacchanal, as Keanu Thompson might call it. And yeah, but so there's that. It's reached the point in the family, however, that, certain generations are getting older. Now my sister's children are taking over. We had Thanksgiving out at their house yesterday, and my oldest nephew's wife did most, if not all, the cooking. My sister made macaroni salad. I made my deviled eggs, and the cranberry salad is something that my mother has made since the 1980s. And that tradition is now passed on. The recipe has been given over to my nephew's wife, and wonderful job with it. So just amazing.
That's good.
Let's see. Hang on. Deviled eggs, red fedora. Are you secretly? No, I am not secretly a villain. I am simply trying to get into the holiday spirit. Not a villain, but a pimp.
I'm a villain. Just kidding. I know I am a villain. I'm villain in the traditional sense.
Okay.
Well, again, villain and vigilante, if you go to the root etymology of it, it's basically a villager, so a common person. Okay. The person that they pointed at and said, they're the bad. The witch, basically, is what it was. That's how it turned into. So yeah, I basically say I'm a villain. And I'm doing that on I'm doing that on X now. Basically, I've already did a video specifically talking to Joel Scarborough, all those guys, and basically told them that to F off, basically, which is funny because again, I will embrace the villain. For Thanksgiving, I'm your villain, and for Christmas, I'm the Grinch. It's going to take away leftism. So that's basically it. So it's funny. Oh, but yeah, Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving, and then we are here now in Black Friday.
There you go. Oh, and we'll get to those questions here in a minute. But apparently, another has come in from the cold. He's come in from outside in the cold. We bring in the legendary Daniel from the Dangerous Rhetoric podcast. How are you, brother?
Tired. Very, very tired. I was basically responsible for organizing all of Thanksgiving dinner last night, and over the last few days, and then I cooked most of it. I did a couple things beforehand, and then turkey yesterday, 2 pies, mashed potatoes, gravy. It was a lot.
Oh my word.
It was a lot. And then, all the shit I'm going through with my family and stuff. I was talking to my grandma on the phone. I'm like, how did you do this for so many years? I don't understand. People who like shit on the stay-at-home mom is like, oh, it's not like a real job. Like, I can't with those people. I'm like, just handle one Thanksgiving dinner and then tell me that shit is not a real job.
Preach it, brother. I mean, yeah. Watching and either watching one person or watching a small handful of people cook a dinner for any number of size individuals can be an amazing experience, or it can be a complete train wreck.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're talking about and what they've got to work with. And, if anybody that does that, I mean, stay-at-home moms, much respect. That's all I'm saying. Much respect.
Well, because they kind of get it from sort of both sides too, because you have the rad femmes who are always like, they have this certain view of those types of women, right? And then of course you have the men who are actual misogynists who are like, well, that's where you're supposed to be. And it's like, right. why can't a woman just have the agency and say, well, it's not where I'm supposed to be or not supposed to be, where like, I want to do this. This is the type of life I want to live. Here are my reasons for doing it. Mm-hmm. And whether you're a woman or a man, you don't have to agree with that, but like it's a job. It takes a lot of work and there's a lot of effort to keeping a home and cooking dinner and doing those things, even going to the store and organizing the the fridge or the pantry and getting those things, which often a lot of men leave to the women to do specifically. And I think part of it is like the women also, like a lot of women like doing that, like, and even me as a more, I mean, I'm gay, but I'm kind of feminine-ish. I don't know. It's like I'm masculine, but I'm not. But I can see the appeal in it. Like I understand why there are just people like they gravitate toward that. They like the homekeeping, they like the cooking, and despite all of the work and exhaustion, they like get a thrill out of it. They enjoy it, and I enjoyed it. But I'm not going to say I don't. But man, this is tiring.
Oh yeah,
I'm not used to it, you know.
Well, yeah, anything you that you enjoy doing will get you exhausted. If you like running marathons, then you'll get tired after it. If you like a good little sexy sex, and then of course you get tired afterward. You know, again,
this too, you know, podcasting and all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very tired. I love it. You know, I enjoy it, but I haven't been able to do it as much because of all these other things I'm juggling, and it takes time and effort and energy. It's fun, yes, but also often we're not shooting the shit like this either. We're like grappling with these really heavy, dark topics, and you have to try to make it's tiring, you know.
Yeah,
well, and that's part of why I wanted to organize this one. It's like I said before you got here. There's 1,000,001 things going on in the world right now. Could we be discussing it? Yes, but every so often, be it people actually dealing with the stuff that's going on, or people like us who comment on it in one form or another, sooner or later, your brain has got to take a break from this and just celebrate the touchstones in your life that keep you sane, and family holidays are one of them.
They're supposed to be like those marker points, for the year. And when this period comes around, I don't know about you guys, but I often reflect on the year that just passed, which I think is the point of this too. You are supposed to do that and try to reflect. And if you're having a shitty holiday season, well, reflect, why am I having a shitty holiday season? And if you're having, maybe you're having a shitty time, but a good holiday, like I'm having a shitty time, but I'm trying to make, I'm almost trying to make the holiday season good this year as like a rebellious act.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the demons to win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you're responsible for your own happiness. That's the one thing. It's like basically, if you basically said, "What did you have for Thanksgiving?" I didn't have Thanksgiving because I'm homeless right now. I don't have anything. Then why are you happy? I'm happy because I'm alive. Because again, last Thanksgiving, I was, like I said, I had the tumors, didn't know it was wrong. I was frantically researching it, knowing that I had to figure out how to lose the weight or shrink the tumors somehow naturally, which I
missed all that backstory, but that sounds crazy, dude.
Well, because in 2015 I started having problems with my nerves, and I didn't know what was wrong because my hands were hurting, and they thought they gave me steroids, and that didn't work. They gave me prednisone, that didn't work, and then I had a major attack in 2016, and then I was diagnosed with something called myasthenia gravis, and that is basically it's an autoimmune condition. It causes my myelin sheet around my nerves.
What is it called again?
Myasthenia gravis. It's a cousin of ALS and MS, and basically that causes its grave muscle weakness. So I get very weak. And I started getting weaker and weaker. And I basically said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. So that's when I basically did my own research and figured out, because I have a brain. I'm thankful for my brain to actually do the research and figure out what was wrong, and then saying, okay,
God forbid, right? God forbid anyone use that thing.
Yeah, let me change my diet. So I started changing my diet, and essentially, I never really liked margarine or anything oils like that. I used butter and all that stuff. So I just increased those foods and increased the water, and then trying to do some exercise. But then I would fall down. I would have seizures. I have all these problems going on.
Wow.
And it got to the point that last Thanksgiving, I was still 525, and I was still, and it wouldn't work. Everything was cracking. And then I basically, in February of this year, that's why I'm grateful that January and February I had a major attack again back in 21, last summer, 2021, or 22, no, 21, no, 22, sorry, 22. In 22,
quick.
Yeah, I know, it's gone so fast, and I couldn't even walk, couldn't get out of bed. I had to wear a diaper. It was bad, and it was terrible. And then I basically said, you know what, keep on going. So it's every single day. So that's why 2023, the year that the healing began, I'm grateful. And where it started, it really started in February of this year. And that's when the weight dropped. So at that February of this year, I was around 5'10", and then not today, I'm 344, 345.
Wow.
And it's just coming off now because, hello?
Sorry, that was my brother.
I played. No.
I should have muted.
Sorry, it was my fault. No. And then that started there. And then that's when, and then just a few weeks ago, just the beginning of like November 2nd, I'm laying in bed here and I'm feeling something like about to rupture, and then my hip breaks, and suddenly I can, and not breaks, but cracks, a big pop. And I feel a rush of blood or energy flow from my hip region down to my legs. And I go, my feet can move now. They weren't moving before. So now I can walk. So again, Brian saw me in October in Orlando, and I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair, and now I could walk again. So that's basically the November Thanksgiving miracle of me starting to do stuff. And I went up to the meetup that they had here with the Nerderotic and the X-Ray Girl in Milwaukee, and then they saw me and going, "My God, you look so different." And they had mentioned on there. So that's what I'm saying. That's what you would be grateful for.
Yeah.
Because every day is every day's struggle. A struggle can be a struggle to people. There are people out there suffering. But then if I can tell you and chronicle every single day, no matter what, I'm doing something for my life. Yes, it sucks, but it's still going to be better tomorrow. I don't care if I'm eating rice and water on Thanksgiving. I'm alive. And I'm gonna thrive, and next year will be better.
Well, I think the main kind of point that I'm taking away from your story too is the gratitude over just health, like how much we take that for granted, because we're always thinking about money and obviously money solves a lot of our issues and stuff. But ultimately, you can have all the money in the world, but if you can't walk, if you are disabled in some way, if you have some other sort of issue, it doesn't matter how much money you have,
Yeah.
Ultimately, your health is the true wealth, right? They say.
That's why I've actually let go of all my possessions too. All I have left
I have not, as you can see.
I know, no, but I'm doing myself. I'm doing me, because again, I'm doing me. I have my computer. I have the equipment right here, and I have. That's it.
Yeah.
And nothing. I any books I have up here, I've already read them. And I can access my internet, my site, my things online, and I'm ready to go and start living. I just want to, and that's basically where I am. I'm basically saying, you know what, I'm better off. I don't watch television. I stopped watching television completely. I stopped doing this because again, everything is about you need this, or this is, or this will solve your problems. No, I will solve my problems. I don't need this.
Yeah.
If I want to take care of myself, well, then how are you going to pay for food? How are you going to do this? I don't care anymore. It's not about money anymore. It's about, I want wealth. I want the wealth of a good soul, the wealth of a good heart, the wealth of knowing that I'm not doing something that's going to be detrimental to society. In a sense that, am I still have my triggers and angry at everything? Yes, I'm angry at the world, what they're doing, and I'm gonna do my best to stop that. But right now, I'm concentrating on myself, and this is why being here is about love. Everybody here is important to me, and everybody online, everyone I've met the last 2 years. Because again, I walked out of my life in 2020. 2021, I'm sitting there, I'm laying there in the hospital, and I said, I'm out of here. And then I went to Vegas and I said, you know what? I'm going to start talking to these people. I never met them. I've online only, never met in person. I walked up there and made instant friends for life. And I've been to a few of them. And then the last big one was in 22. Was it 22? Yeah, 22. I was in Orlando.
October 22, yeah.
But before that, in March of 2022, there was a MegaCon. And I went. Jeremy was there. They were all there, but then I fell down hard at Orlando City Walk in front of all of the fellowship, and they saw me fall down completely. I was in a wheelchair and I collapsed completely, and they picked me up and everything like that. So they knew how bad it was, and I still said, I don't care. I'm going to get up and fight. I'm not going to get down. That's what you got to do.
comment on something you said a moment ago, but about like, yeah, you know, you care about the bigger things going on in the world and all those problems, but you had to step back, focus on yourself, all of that. That's kind of where I am too. I understand that. It reminds me of this point that Jordan Peterson has hit on a few times that I've really taken to heart over the years. And it's basically that, like, if you can't make the stuff around you better, like in the world or even in your immediate environment, the least you can do is not make shit worse. So if focusing on yourself means that the least you're doing is not making things around you worse by being a problem and contributing to other people's problems, just handling your own shit, that's already leagues ahead of what other people are doing to improve the world as a whole, because it does. I think it does. You just kind of have to step back sometimes and, all right, where am I? How do I help myself? And then put myself in a position where I can help others. But you start there with yourself. And if you could at least do that and you're not making things worse around you, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know?
And for me, it's a double thing, in the sense that I'm taking care of myself and then I put it online. I put online when I'm sick, I put it out there. Here, I'm sick today and I'm here. I'm getting better. I'm dropping weight. It's doing this. Here's what I'm doing. Here's how I make my food.
I do that. I do that with my workout stuff. And yeah, there's vanity in it. Of course. I want,
For me, it's more of accountability.
Sure. Same thing for me too. And then when I'm not posting for a while or I'm not keeping track of myself as well, I notice that I'm like, oh, I haven't worked out in 11 days. I haven't worked out in like 2 weeks, and it happens. But I also have that little reminder, because when I put it out in public, people do reach out. People send me messages or they send comments like, hey, I started going to the gym again. Like, hey, I started really focusing on that more because of the stuff you posted or shared. And like I said, there's some vanity in it, of course, you know.
But again, here's the most
the accountability of it.
Yeah. Accountability. Yeah. And the second point is the idea that I now want to help others achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So basically, I talked with Brian about this and a few
Inspire
others.
Yeah.
We'll just, because again, hey, we can look at the world and how it is, but we're looking how great our world is and how good our lives can be if we apply all of that worry out there to all that love internally.
Yeah. The immediate problems we're dealing with that are near to
that
us.
You are dealing with.
Yes.
You are like the person like I am dealing with. Yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. And then
that's where I am politically, and I'm kind of just, I've switched around. And I think when you're young, you have this mindset, and Peterson talks about this shit all the time too. When you're young, you want to save the world. It's natural. You have that naivety. You take on all the problems of all the big shit, but you ignore it, like you can't clean your room. That's the point that he's making when he says that, you know. So we need to reverse that. You start with yourself. You deal with all those immediate things about you. Then you can extend that a little outward to your family. Then you can extend that a little outward to your friends. Then you can extend that a little outward to your city and your community. Then you can extend that a little outward to your state, and then the country as a
bottom
whole,
up,
and then the world. You know, but we got to prioritize. And politically, that's why right now I'm like, it's sad what's happening in the Middle East. Sad what's happening in the Ukraine. The immigration situation, all sad. These people need help. I get that. But can we start with us first, Americans? Can we? Yeah. And so that my political philosophy in my personal life now is that's how I'm applying it to the country. If we take the country as, say, us as a person as a whole, like, hey, maybe let's, help that person first. Then once they're on their feet more, then whatever's left over, okay, then we use it and help whoever else. But it's all backward.
Yeah, it should be an all pay. It should be a pay it forward type of thing. Basically, I'm here, and I know those who stood up and helped me out, and those good people will get helped out too if they have a problem. They're right away. And again, if anybody calls and needs anything, I'll be there for them too. And
your neighbors, the people who are closest to you, but you start with you. Like you said,
exactly.
Start with you, and then it extends to your neighbors. And then if they're taken care of, then maybe we can bring it extended.
That's how love spreads.
Yeah,
because you love yourself, take care of yourself, then you love your neighbor, love your community, love your city, love your state, love all the way up.
Well, speaking of doing for our communities, our friends, and our neighbors, and whatnot, our country has a very great tradition on this day after Thanksgiving, and it's referred to as Black Friday. Now you say that as though you either have a story or had a story, Daniel. So we'll work this thing around the room.
It's
good and bad. Let's hear your best Black Friday story.
I avoid the holiday to not have those stories. I don't shop on Black Friday. I know people who have. When I was younger, I remember going to the store a couple times with my grandmother and my folks and my brother, and it was crazy, you know. And then over the years, I feel like like when I was younger, that holiday was there, but it wasn't like a holiday. And then now, over the last couple decades, I would say it's slowly transformed into its own sort of holiday. Like it's like an actual capitalist holiday too, like as capitalist as you can think of like the buy stuff holiday, the deals day.
Okay, now when you say all right, where did you grow up? Because I've got
Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Okay, so did you guys make trips into New York City, or did you guys mostly shop in Elizabeth? I'm just curious.
I mean, we'd shop locally around here or other surrounding towns. Going to New York City for Black Friday sounds like horrible. That sounds. Like
Isn't New Jersey like, or wasn't it once like the mall capital of the world?
Yeah. we still got malls here. Yeah, there's one in Elizabeth. It's called Jersey Gardens. We used to call it Ghetto Gardens when I was a teenager.
Well, now why did it get that nickname, if you don't mind my asking?
Because Elizabeth is a little gritty. We'll just put it that way. It's a little rough around the edges here.
Gritty, he says. Okay. So your family would go shopping in Elizabeth. So, good and bad stories, or it's just like you're like when you got older, you're like they said, "Okay,
I just
like, no."
Yes, basically, by the time I was old enough to make any decisions for myself and just say no, I don't care about shopping in stores per se, unless it's a bookstore. Different, you know. I love little antique shops, bookstores. You know, thrift store, I'll lose 2-3 hours in a place like that. But otherwise, because it's like a treasure hunt. But otherwise, the whole big corporate capitalist shit, and it's not that I even hate capitalism. I don't feel the need to participate in a big holiday to save a bunch of money.
I love capitalism. Yeah. I'm a capitalist at heart, but I don't like crony capitalism. We have here, which is where corporations and the government in bed together. That's what I want to break up.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know, I'm a little mad at these corporations too. I get it. You save a lot of money going to Walmart and all these places, but fuck those people and the fact that the rules during the lockdowns favored them. They were allowed to stay open. They were allowed to bring in huge bucks selling the same exact shit that these little small mom and pop shops, and they all had to close down. But Walmart, you could stay open, just social distance. What a bunch of horse shit. They're clearly
That's why
in
I was
bed.
glad I was in a red. I live in a red state because we didn't have that here.
Clearly in bed, like you said, though. Clearly in bed.
Yeah, we
with
our little. I live in a little town about 30 miles outside of Nashville, and we have one local grocery store. It's an independent grocer. They stayed open. You know, all of our little downtown shops stayed open during COVID because they just didn't lock them down here.
Hell yeah!
All right, so Tracy, where you grew up in Bama, any stories of Black Friday that your mom and your grandma came back with like scars on their elbows, black eyes, teeth being knocked out? I mean, did stuff go down?
TV.
It was never anything like that. I do know that at one point when my mom and my aunt and my grandmother would all go to Black Friday together, and this is like back in the 80s when I was a kid, and you had the big toys in the 80s were, of course, Cabbage Patch Kids in 83 or 84, Strawberry Shortcake in 85, and then there was a few more. And those were the hot items, and they were almost impossible to get.
They were still around in the 90s, too, when I was coming up as a kid.
They were.
I remember all the commercials for those toys, even in the 90s.
But I do know that now this is when Kmart was still a thing. And Kmart was the big thing with the 3 small towns that we live in. Kmart was the big store. This is before Walmart came.
Same here in Jersey. Kmart was huge. And then I remember when they went out of business, I was like, oh my God, they're gone forever.
Yep. But I do know that during those Christmases when, they would go to get like the hot toy for me and all the cousins. Yeah. That Kmart would have limits on how many you could get. And so they would all drive separate cars and go in separately and kind of go in and buy around the limits that way. My mom even like went into Kmart twice in the same day to be able to get more of what she wanted. I mean,
for my brother and I as kids, the big things were video games, honestly, because that's when that was still becoming a really that was really like it started in the 80s, but in the 90s it really started to explode. Nintendo 64 came out, and I'll never forget how high in demand that was. When that came out. And when we got one for Christmas, it was like the biggest deal ever, and your family, if you were broke too, you put an arm and a leg out to make sure your kid had that thing to, feel included, to not feel poor.
Hey, I got you beat on that, man. I can remember the Atari 2600.
Oh, look at you, ancients over here. The ancients one.
We're talking cartridges about like this big, and you stick them in a thing, and there's nothing like today. Nothing like these. I downloaded
look,
Zelda.
Nintendo 64 was cartridges, so I did grow up.
That is true.
I grew up in that cartridge era as well. We used to blow on them shits if they weren't working. That was the trick. We swore it worked. We don't know if that was what fixed it, but we swore it.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, so Ruben, what about you? Any Black Friday stories with your mom or
no, not really. I guess it wasn't a big thing because again, I guess I'm the oldest person here. No.
Oh, you're the ancient one.
I'm 50. I'm 52. Tracy's a lovely 29.
No, I'm 48. I'm 48. I'll be 49.
I'll be 56 in March. So
all right, yeah, you are older than dirt. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, 30.
But think for me growing up, for Black Friday was really a thing when I came to Chicago. And by the time I came to Chicago, was it 1990? I was 22. So,
okay.
I was born that year.
I know, baby. So then
you're making all of us feel real good. We appreciate that, there.
No, but the thing is that it's so funny when Gary thinks he's a boomer. He's younger than me. He's 17 months younger, and when you're not a boomer, God darn it. No, but anyway, but
boomers are like 60 and up. I mean,
boomer adjacent.
We're higher. I was a boomer 70 or
boomer adjacent. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, whatever. But anyway, no, but with the Black Friday experience I had, because I was in Chicago. I would work the record store, Coconut store, and I would be the classical manager, with one in charge of all the classical and jazz, because no one else knew about that, which is kind of funny. And it was nice because again, to live the experience of the Black Friday, downtown Chicago, Black Friday, I was down there, Marshalls, what is it? State Street, everything like that. So everything that you saw in National Lampoon, Ferris Bueller, all that stuff, seeing it at the Christmas time, really like, wow, it's just like to be in that at the moment. It was more of the experience of seeing the people around. Because that's what I like to do. I like to watch people. I'm going to go to a meetup. I'm a people watcher.
I also love to watch people. And that was my favorite part about living in Manhattan when I lived there, was people watching, from the window, whenever I'd go outside. But the holiday season too, you're right. It's about the atmosphere, the lights,
the tree going up in Chicago. That during that period, so that was the whole idea that because growing up in Texas and it was Laredo down the south, they weren't really big on Christmas. They were, I don't know why, it wasn't as much as Christmas. I loved it. As soon as Christmas started, I helped my mother again, like with Thanksgiving. As soon as it's over, boom, Christmas lights. So my mother got tired of doing it, so I did it. So when it was time for Christmas to be over, I put the lights up. I set everything up and all that stuff and did everything. And when my wife was still alive, Christmas was the season. And I had the stereo on in the background, playing Christmas music all the time. I had three different Christmas trees in the house.
Wow.
And I'll show pictures. I gotta pull them up so you can actually see this. Because the last time I really did this big time.
You were the Christmas guy.
because again, for me, it was more about it's the extension of Thanksgiving. It's more of, I'm grateful that I'm alive again. It's a celebration of Christmas, of the season, of New Year. It's a whole thing for me about being grateful. Because again, Thanksgiving it starts at Halloween. It's the kids' time. Thanksgiving is family time. and Christmas being the spiritual time, it was all like leading up to that whole thing. And then you basically renew the new year. So it was all that. So it was just really happy. So I'll get some pictures. I have some, it's funny. I actually keep all my photos that I used to have on I have external drive. I only do that for one reason. I don't want to see those pictures. Because again, it's like, if you see it, then you remember, but I do want to remember at this time, reflect. Even though it may be painful to see photos. So I actually, for right or wrong, I've deleted all the photos except for one of my wife. I can't see her photo. I can't look at her face. I have to put it away. So I put it away. But again, that's the whole idea. It's fun. But I'll show you some pictures. But yeah, that's what it is. This is the Black Friday aspect. My wife and she wanted to go one time, and she wanted me to go with her because there was one rule. And again, men, you have to have rules with your wife. And my rule was, if it has an on and off switch, do not buy it without my permission. Because I don't know. She would buy the shittiest crap. I said, why did you buy this? You didn't do any research. Buy this version. So then that was it. So then she wanted to get a television for the guest room. So we went there specifically to Target to do that. And it was not that bad. It was bad. But it wasn't that bad because I said, well, let's go later in the day when all the shit's been going down, all the beatings have happened. And we just go in there and get our thing. And I got a good deal. She got some good stuff. She got stuff around. And it was happy. I love the fact that she loved shopping for her kids, Right. And that was important. So then she got that for her children, got the stuff and all that stuff. So it was important for her. And that was 2002. And then in 2003, we had Christmas at our place, which is a disaster, which no, they didn't show up. Because again, because she was 18 years older than I was. So that's why they basically said, you bastard, I was the MFer, basically. Literally.
So she was Mrs. Robinson. She was cougaring.
Because again, I was 20. I met her when I was 27, and we married at 29. And then she was the one that taught me everything. So she was my first everything. So she taught me what to do.
Your ex-wife. How old was she?
She was past. She died.
Okay.
Not ex. Well, former.
Sorry, widow. So she was 18 years older.
18 years older. So she passed away, and she passed. Yeah, she wasn't even 68 when she passed away.
I mean, not unheard of. I have a friend whose parents they're like 20 years apart or something like that. I think the mom was like in her 20s, and then the father was like already in his 50s when they met. Wow. So his father died when he was like a kid at like 12 because his father was so old when he had him that the father passed away in his like 70s, like 70 something.
Both of my grandmothers married when they were 13, and both my grandfathers
that was more normal. 20s. That was
we're in their 20s now. They weren't, they were silent generation, like
my grandma
born in the early 1900s. So that's just what you did, especially in rural Kentucky.
Yeah, my grandma was born
Texas. So
my grandma was born 1940, and she had kids at 18, I believe, 18, 19, and got married, and that was normal back then. So it happened very young.
Let me see this works. Let me see. Can show you some pictures. I see they come.
Not advocating for people getting married at 13. Please don't.
No.
Somebody out there will with that and say keto and crimes and favor. No, it's just what my grandparents did.
Sure. No, it was definitely a thing of the time at that time. It was just expected. As soon as you came of age, you went and you started a family, and it was definitely done younger at that time.
Can you see the screen or no?
They were lucky. One set of grandparents had a very happy marriage. Mm-hmm. It was obvious. The other, not so much. They never divorced.
Just stuck it out.
Yeah, they stuck it out. A few of them were good, but for the most part, they weren't happy.
That was also expected of your generation too. The divorce thing, like even if you were unhappy, you stuck it out anyway, and you just did it.
Like your children.
Well, even when the children are gone, I think a lot of those couples stay together too, just for the hell of it. They just figure that's what they're supposed to do.
And going back to what you said earlier, Daniel, about women having the agency to choose. That's all for me that feminism was ever about. I mean,
that's what it should have. Yeah, it should have just stayed.
Just women have an agency. Choose what you want to do, and if you're married, if you're in an unhappy marriage, you need to work at a marriage. You shouldn't just give up on a marriage because he's. You know what I'm saying? I think people still give up too easily.
They do,
but if it's truly a bad marriage, either party should have the ability to walk away.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think where feminism went off the rails, it's just like, I don't know, like you said, it's about choice. There's a trade-off. If you're going to choose the family life, there's a trade-off. You're not going to have the big CEO job. You're not going to work the overtime that men will end up working to excel in the corporate world and all. So of course there's going to be like a wage gap in regards to those things, because you have to choose. There's a trade-off. Are you going to put your time and energy into your family, or are you going to put it into your career? You can try to balance both, but it's hard to have
and that's
that
why women by and
home
large
life
are drawn to
and
different careers. I mean, I have friends that are school teachers, have been school teachers 30 years, and they did it so they could still be moms and be good at it. You know, they didn't stay home, but they were home during the summer. They were home with their kids in the afternoon.
So they could balance the two out, still have a job.
And there is pay gaps. Very definitely pay gaps there.
Of course. But a lot of that has to do with just men are more willing to work overtime.
Exactly. And by and large, women don't become welders and bricklayers and linemen for the electric company and things like that. There are women that do that, but in majority, no. We're teachers, we're nurses, we're moms, we're, traditionally jobs that don't pay as much as those other jobs.
Nurturing jobs too. And it doesn't mean, obviously doesn't mean all women are going to go in those jobs. Same with men. All men aren't going to go into the field of gadgets and ideas and things. But statistically speaking, and this is another thing Jordan Peterson always talks about, that was one of the things he really helped me understand and click in my head, is that biologically it makes sense that there are differences in interests between the sexes. One carries the child, right, and has to deal with this tiny little fragile being. So of course they have to have a naturally, statistically speaking, more nurturing type of temperament and personality. It just makes sense. Whereas,
it does. They're definitely different. You see it in nature. Go out and look at go out and look at great apes. Go out and look at a pride of lions. Look at how different male and female roles are there.
And they all, but again, they also are interchangeable in a way. In so, like the penguins, the males protect the kids, and then and then of course, and the lions and stuff. When you think about the lion, the
lioness,
the lionesses are hunting, and the lion protects the lionesses. It's simple. Again, it's not cookie cutter. Again, it's not cookie cutter in the sense that men must do this, women must do that. No, it's not cookie cutter, but we have to acknowledge
what I'm saying in my statement is men tend to do this.
Yeah, there has to be some foundation, some grounding.
That's it.
If a man and a woman are married and the man wants to be a house husband and the woman is the one that wants to go off and pursue that big CEO job,
who cares?
Do it. That's I'm all about gender bending roles. I mean, I'm a lesbian. Of course, we gender bend roles. We got two women in a relationship.
But what I mean is ultimately there is a difference between saying women have to do this and men have to do that. And saying women tend to want to do this and men tend to want to do that. And now that's being called sexist.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's not.
We're biologically
science
hardwired in certain ways. And that's the reason, I'm all about save the tomboy. That's the reason we have so many girls,
and the
getting
femboy.
their boobs chopped off at age 13 because they happen to be a tomboy. It's okay to be a girl and not like girly things.
Well, my dad switched normal roles that he was not accustomed to for one Black Friday. This is one of the two Black Friday stories I've got in my family, and this was years and years ago. Talking about malls in your hometown. In my area, we got a brand spanking new mall, still to this day, the biggest mall in the state of West Virginia. And however, there was a certain amount of, I should say, absence of thought given when it came to accessing said mall. So my sister had purchased from my dad a recliner, beautiful recliner. So somehow, well, now I know exactly how. We had saved up a bunch of aluminum cans, and the recycling center where we would take them to was just above the road where the mall was at. So we load up, and my sister gets the bright idea, hey, since we're in that general area anyway, Dad, why don't we take your pickup truck? You and Brian and I will go over there, and we'll get your Christmas gift. Dad's like, okay. Well, my dad had never really been out on Black Friday before. Because he's no old country boy, and he never really had to deal with that kind of stuff because that's what the women do. So Dad, given that his pickup truck, is driving the pickup truck, and I'm sitting in it's Dad behind the steering wheel. I'm in the middle, and my sister's on the passenger side. Well, as I said, there was only one way to get into this mall, and at the time, to access the main road where you would get to go to turn into the mall, there was only 2 ways to get there. We got halfway across the road we normally travel before we even made the turn to get onto the main road that takes you to the mall, and we're already behind traffic. This mall had not been open maybe but 2 or 3 years, and it was Black Friday in West Virginia, and everybody wanted to go shopping. So my dad, now picture this. Here we are in this old Ford pickup truck. My dad's sitting there with a half-lit Camel cigarette, one hand on the wheel. I'm sitting there doing my best not to say anything because I'm realizing, okay, this is getting kind of tense here. My sister, she's trying to keep it conversational. We managed to get all the way up there. Finally got on the main road. We still had a line of traffic. It was probably, if I had to guess, it took us a good 2 hours from where we were stopped in traffic just to get to, all right, y'all, Sears and Roebuck's. This gives you an idea how long ago this was. We had to go to an actual Sears and Roebuck's department store. Now, Tracy, you're laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I also remember their big old Christmas catalog, which was the best thing that ever came.
Baby was,
I remember
Daniel,
that too.
That catalog was that thick.
I remember Sears. I remember Sears.
Yeah.
I'm 33. I'm not 20. I'm not a Zoomer.
For us old folks on this live stream, we're just trying to keep everybody up to speed, don't you know?
You young whippersnappers don't remember Sears catalog?
I have to interject here. Yesterday, my mother-in-law, when we went out to go pick up our food, she was like, "Can you stop and get me a newspaper so I can see about the sale?" I said, "Mom, there's nothing in the newspaper. I mean, everything's online." And she goes, "I still want a newspaper." So I stopped and got her the Thanksgiving edition of the Tennessean, and I brought it back to her. And she came in later on and said, "That was about as useful as tits on a bull." I said, "I know." I said, she says, "There's not even a Sears or JCPenney flyer in there." I'm like, "Mom, those have been out of business for years."
Yeah, so we get the Sears and Roebuck, get the chair loaded up. We come back to the house, and we realize upon getting it out of the box that they had given us the wrong chair.
Oh, that's a bummer. Then you had to rebox it and bring it back.
My dad, to his credit, was probably one of the most even-tempered men you will ever meet in this life. He rarely if ever did he shout, and he didn't in this case. He just looked at my sister and uttered 3 words. Gina, never again. And that was his way of saying, you will never get me out on Black Friday. I don't care if we're driving to Fort Knox to pick up gold. It ain't happening, honey. You'll never get your father out to do this again. And he was true to his word. He never did he go out on Black Friday again. Now the other
like I said, I've just avoided it. I avoided all these years. I don't bother. I've seen enough videos online to know what's possible.
Yep.
And that's enough for me. I'll do my shopping online if I have to on Black Friday and get a couple things, or I just forget it exists and move on with my life. Now they do Cyber Monday too, guys. Just so you know, Cyber Monday.
Like, I remember one year. I was 5, maybe 5 or 6, and I remember this vividly because what I wanted for Christmas more than anything was, now Brian and Ruben will probably know who I'm talking about, but there was a ventriloquist back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s called Willie Tyler, and he had a man.
I believe I remember Willie Tyler.
Oh, he's an African American, and he had an African American puppet named Lester, and I wanted a Lester puppet so bad that I could, an actual ventriloquist puppet. And so
they would have canceled you back then too.
Yeah, and
you'd definitely canceled right now.
My family went on a rampage trying to find one, and they finally went to Hammer's department store, which was in another little small town. It was privately owned, and finally asked them, "Can you order one of these for our granddaughter?" And Mr. Hammer said he would, and they ordered it. Well, he ordered a bunch of ventriloquist dummies for some reason, not just that one. And then my grandfather went to pick it up, and he picked it up. He didn't look at it. He didn't even know who Willie Tyler and Lester was. he came back, and I heard my grandmother get real mad, and she said, "Don't you know that he's black, not white?" He had went and they had given him a Charlie McCarthy, who's a white ventriloquist dummy. And she goes, "He's black, not white. That's the wrong one. Take it back."
That's the wrong one.
So,
you wanted the black one.
Well, I wanted the
black one.
Well, yeah, now, how would she have gotten canceled back then? She's getting a black ventriloquist dummy.
It goes to show, though, how much of racism really is just taught. You know, it's something like you didn't even think as a little.
It was
little
just
girl,
really Tyler and Lester.
You wanted Lester. You didn't think, oh, I want a black doll or a white doll, or you just I want that doll. You know, like
I had a Jimmy Walker doll, a JJ doll. And you pulled the string, it said Dynamite. I had one of those, and I drug it around with me for years.
I want to see. I'm gonna get you one of those so you can bring it out on your live streams or when we're doing live streams. They're gonna cancel you so quick. They're gonna be like, "Who is this white lady with this black ventriloquist doll?" Like, that's symbolic of slavery.
I actually started learning to throw my voice so I could put on shows with him. I had him for years.
That's just crazy. How do people do that really quick? Like, I've never quite understood the throwing your voice thing and how they can really sound like they're speaking without. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's just about where you can place you have to place your tongue either at the bottom or the top of your mouth, and you just have to learn how to speak out of the very corner of your mouth and speak loud enough that you can throw it toward the doll.
That's so weird. I can't do it.
Yeah, it amazes me watching Jeff Dunham, who right now is the ventriloquist guy of all the ventriloquist guys or ladies, as the case may be, because there are ventriloquist folks who are female.
Sexist.
I know.
Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Oh, that was part of my Macy's Day tradition.
I remember Lamb Chop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, there'd be a segment on the Macy's Day Parade that NBC would put on, and it would be Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop. And this was for years. And yeah, I mean,
that was definitely into the 90s, because I do remember Lamb Chop, and I definitely remember it during the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, I mean, that was like one of my traditions. The other really good Black Friday story that I've got is one year at my sister's house, and this was after they moved away from my family's farm. They got a house in an area not too far from here where I'm at, and we finished dinner. We cleaned everything up, and then my sister, my mother, my niece's mother, a friend of hers, and my niece went out on a midnight shopping run. There's a outlet mall probably hour and a half, 2 hours up the road from where we're at. And they wanted up there when Black Friday started at 12:01 a.m. and the stores opened. They stayed out and shopped all night long, came back into town, and then dropped off my sister and my mom, and then my niece's mother and her friend and the niece went down to another store in Kentucky, which, if you know anything about my area, it borders 3 different states. And I'm sitting here going, y'all are crazy. Y'all are absolutely crazy. But yeah, they made a midnight run about 2 hours up the road to be there at 12:01 a.m. Black Friday to start their shopping at this outlet mall, and then just work their way down the road, and then on they went.
See, the only similar examples I can think of that sort of thing from my childhood is, again, related to video games. Like, I remember when Halo came out, or the second one, I think it was Halo 2. Same sort of thing. When a really big game would come out, Black Friday or not, they would like launch it at like midnight, and people would show up to the malls and the stores and line up with their parents and shit, and they'd be waiting outside until midnight so they can get in there and be the first ones to get this game and bring it home and play it. So
and I remember when they actually moved to like these big department stores opening up at like 6 and 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving night.
Oh yeah.
My sister has worked at Walmart, has worked for Walmart for 20 something years. And I remember several Thanksgivings where she literally had to leave the Thanksgiving gathering to go to work at Walmart. And I always thought that was the most horrible thing. I'm like, why is it leaking into Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
They did stop that practice. Now it's gone back to opening after midnight. But
well, they should let them enjoy their freaking holiday. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like, there's going to be enough time for shopping. I mean, to me, one day out of the year, stop, give thanks, remember why we're doing this holiday.
Really, we should be doing that every day of the year.
Oh, I agree with you there. Absolutely.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's a hard practice, though.
Oh, true. And Ruben, I got what you sent me. I'm trying to open this thing, but it's making me download and then sign up for it. So, but I'll keep on trying it. So, what do you?
Well, it's all the photos that I had from the last big Christmas I had, all the trees and everything. How I went like Christmas all over the place. I went Christmas all over. And the one that X one is just a funny comedy thing I did about 20 years ago. No, 14 years ago, for to make funny. And I put it on Facebook.
Wait. Here we go. I think I'm onto something here. Okay. Yeah, I think I can do this. Anyway, y'all keep talking amongst yourselves for a second. I'm going to try and set this up.
Yeah, because basically that's what because again, Christmas is the holiday season, I should say. Like I said, for me, it's like I said, Halloween to the middle of January, basically. And I would always put the tree up between November 15th through January 15th, because it's like if you're gonna do it, then go out and start then. It's a build up and do it. Don't just do it like for the 1 week and it's done. You're going to spend all the time making the season and do that.
I started decorating early, like a couple weeks ago, for that reason.
Yeah, we decorated this year before
Thanksgiving. Just to have it a little longer, basically.
Yeah.
Guys, I do have to jump off, but it has been a pleasure hanging out with you, and thank you so much for having me
Tracy.
on.
Oh, Tracy, good to have you, dear. And darling, if I don't get to talk to you between now and December 25th, you and yours have a very Merry Christmas, my love.
I will. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Be good, darling. And that, folks, is Tracy from Keto and Crime. Go check out her channel because she is just totally awesome. Ruben, I think I'm in business here, so hang on a second. I'll throw some of these up here for everybody to take a look at. This is Christmas at Ruben's house back in the day.
Yeah, that wreath over the door, I actually made that. I bought the wreath. It's about 6 feet across. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I just filled it with lights. I did that. That's the 25-foot tree.
Jeez.
Wow, 25 feet. Holy shit!
Up on top.
How the hell did you climb that thing to be able?
I didn't climb. We had a ladder.
Yeah. So you climbed a little.
Oh, you climbed a ladder, but still, dude, you're 25 feet up in the air. Are you crazy? Lord have mercy.
Yeah, okay. And the ornaments on there are full-size teddy bears. They're not they're gigantic balls.
Wow.
Well, people always said you had big balls, Ruben. So now we have proof. There you
confirmed.
Go.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be cool one year to be able to go all out.
And I had 3 trees in the house. I specifically designed that house. I wanted people to walk into the house. I worked with the architect, walk with him, and said, I want a tree right there. So that basically that's why there's windows on that side, windows on this side, and you just like saw lights and it was just shining all over. Yeah. So yeah, but the one thing I didn't do is outside. I did inside only because I was just oh my god, I don't want to do the Clark Griswold thing, fall down and break my neck.
Even from outside with the tall ceilings and the high windows, from outside everyone's gonna see that freaking tree.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So then there it is. Yeah, and I put the giant wreath and then the little wreath at the door. You see the big size difference.
Where was this house?
It's in Streamwood, Illinois. It was in Streamwood. Okay. And I actually, it's not that far from where I am right now. And I went by one time to see it and go, yeah, the flower bed that I designed still there, and then the trees that I planted are still there. This is 20 years ago. Oh. This is December 2003. And there's another tree there, and I put things on the windows. I just went all out.
Ruben, remind me that if I ever want to go crazy with my Christmas decorations, I am importing you for like a week or so. And
but here's what's funny.
You're gonna get them on a 25-foot ladder.
No, but here's what's so funny. Here's what's so funny. This what you just said is not far from the truth. In 2015, I believe. Yeah, my business partner. There, now you see one tree and you see the other tree. They're all there.
Jeez.
So then in 2015, my business partner, her kids wanted to have Christmas, and she hates putting a tree up.
Right.
And then I'm going, okay, you all you have is a tree. It's so easy. So basically, she said, okay, here are the ornaments. Here's a tree. Done. I'll be back. I'm gonna go and get some food from a Chinese restaurant. She came back, but she doesn't cook either. It's weird. So literally, she left, came back, and I said, "Okay, are these what you want up here? What color do you want to go with? I don't care what color. What color do you want? Because I want to know. Because you have red, you have blue, you have green, this and that. You have white, you have clear lights. What's your theme you want?" So I asked her these questions. Like, what are you asking? Just do it. And I said, "Okay, I'll just do whatever."
Yeah.
So then,
you do need a theme though. You're correct.
I know. I gave her a theme.
Like this year, my color combo I'm doing.
Yeah. So I looked at her house. I looked
green, white, gold. So,
yeah, so I looked at her house. What she had, it was mainly red and white like that, and I did that. So then and then she sat there and she goes, "What the hell did you just do?" So it was basically like the movie Elf. I basically just went. In 20 minutes, the whole tree was done. And she goes, she saw me doing it. "What are you doing? How did you do that?" She couldn't understand it. I was moving at record speeds fast. I do it very, very quickly.
Christmas tree decoration professional.
Yeah, I do it like again, I never saw the movie Elf until it was on television. But when I saw it, I went, yeah, that's how I do it.
That's me, yeah.
You just do it. Just do it like that.
Yeah.
And I just did it.
That thing's monstrous. Look at that thing.
Yeah,
25 feet of tree.
I enjoy decorating the tree as well.
Yeah, see that those are full those are like large teddy bears going up, and then Pootie Bear, again, all these little things were there, and that was the ornaments, because they're just huge ornaments, and it was just a big thing, and that's what I want to do. I want to basically that's my goal. Next year, I hope to have a girlfriend, wife, hopefully get married again, and again a family and stuff. Because that's my goal. Again, you gotta keep your eyes on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that's what I like. That's the thing. That's why I say that Black Friday, Thanksgiving is the kickoff of Christmas, kickoff of the celebration, everything, and it's just amazing. And I did the railing too. I put lights.
I'm
the railing going up.
I'm a big Halloween guy myself personally, and I always view that as the opening of the holiday season. I know there are a lot of people who don't celebrate it as well. To me, Halloween I love it. It's huge, and that is the kickoff to me of holiday season. As it starts on Halloween.
And literally, with all the lights on in the room, and it doesn't do it justice, because it's not very bright, but it's very warm.
The way you are with Christmas, or at least the way you were when you did this, I have a friend who's like this, but with Halloween. Like, he goes all out for this shit. Like,
wow. Yeah, my friend too. I have a friend that I'm trying to get back with. That's my hope if she wants to do something with the future. She loves Halloween. So let's see.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all good. And then, of course, I put out the second link was a comedy link, a 23-second video I did one time for the funny kids, just to make everybody laugh. It's on X right now. It's basically, I call it Mr. Gingerbread Man wishes you happy holidays and Merry Christmas from his Christmas hot tub. And it's 23 seconds. I just did it. I went to a bookstore, and it was when Barnes & Noble was still around.
Wow.
And I went Barnes & Noble's still around.
Well, when the superstore here in Chicago was still around.
Yeah, they definitely, a bunch of those did close over the last few
this
years.
was nearby here. And then I sat down, and I had my they had gingerbread there, and I said, "Oh my God, I gotta have one of these things." And they were gonna put it inside, they were gonna put it in the drink. I said, No, give it to me. So I did that, and then I did the whole spoof of him just dropping in this shit is pretty good to hot tub and saying, "Merry Christmas, everybody, how you doing?" It was just so funny.
Okay, I think I've got this thing hooked up, Ruben. So hang on a second. We'll play this real quick.
It's just short, and again, it's because when I put this on Facebook 14 years ago, and I was working out at Lifetime Fitness, and I sent this to all of the people that was part of the group, because again, it's this Christmas thing, and all of their kids laughed at this, and they're basically saying, all the kids were saying again, and going, they want to play this thing again. It's funny. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I was gonna ask a question to you guys. You ever seen Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen?
I have not seen that, but that has.
So the whole premise of the movie is he calculates how expensive Christmas is and how much money he ends up spending on it every year. And then he goes to his wife and he shows her all of that. And he says, look at all this money we spend on all this every year. So then he pitches a vacation to her instead. That's half the cost. And he says, why don't we just skip Christmas this year? And instead of spending the $6,000 we spend every year, let's spend $3,000 and go on a cruise. So they try to skip Christmas. And that's the whole comedy of the movie, is people won't allow them to do that, to just ignore Christmas and not do it. But I was going to ask you guys, have you ever felt that feeling where you just wanted to skip the whole thing and like just be done with it, not deal with the aggravation and the headache of, and the cost of it and all of that, and just skip over it?
And I will tell you why, because I mean, for me, what I grew up in, Christmas is more a celebration of an aspect of the Christian religion, that is the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
And over the years, that has taken less prominence as opposed to the commercialism that is the holidays turned into. And, my family members are more to the point, with the exception of my nephew's plural children, one has 3 and the other one has 1. It's like, what do you get the adults in your family that they don't already have?
Yeah.
It's like, so to me, and
time.
And maybe this is the awfulness of me just being me, but it's like, okay, here are your gift cards. If you have something specific you would like for me to get you for Christmas, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a gift card to somewhere. Buy what you like, make yourself happy.
Yeah. See, I'm torn on that, because I understand that mentality. Like I'm saying, I'm just, I don't want to deal with the aggravation, but I also like gift giving. I do
me too.
And especially because I'm a book nerd, I collect them, I sell them and all that stuff. I do like to think, okay, here's this person I care about. Let me try to read their interests and what they are into, and try to figure out what would they like to read, or what could I get them. I do enjoy that process of figuring a gift out, especially a book. But yeah, it's time consuming. It can be exhausting. So when there's all these other things going on, you're just like, do I really have time to think of a gift for this? Here's a gift card.
Yeah. And again, it's not me trying to be skinflinty or anything else. It's just,
you're being honest.
What do I get someone who's already got everything? It's like, now for kids, they're trying to, buy video games. Yeah. Easy to please. I mean, you go to their parents, you say, look, what do you want me to get your kid? What do you want me to get? Name the names of my great nieces and great nephews. It's like, what do you want me to get them? And the parents can tell me, and then from there I can contribute to it or whatever, or just buy it outright myself. But we're going to play something real quick. Ruben had put this together some years ago for children. So let's take a look at this real quick.
Oh yes, my Christmas hot tub. Mr. Gingerbread Man in the Christmas hot tub, enjoying his Christmas. Yes, oh, it's very good. Ooh, get down in there, get myself all nice and
He's sleeping. Oh my God!
Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.
That's it. Just something.
There you go.
I just want to eat him. I
know, but the poor little guy. But I was channeling Mr. Bill, basically.
That poor little guy would have had no head before I finished the video.
There you go. Well, we have a new guest who's managed to stop by. I'm going to go and bring him in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Conservatish, a good friend of this channel and a good friend in general. Yeah, I know. I sent him in. Now wait a minute. Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
Oh, here we go. The Puerto Rican is here.
Finally, a brown man.
We are welcoming of all people on this electronic front porch.
I don't know about this one, Brian. I don't know about this guy.
Peace on
Pinkies
earth,
up, boys and girls. Pinkies up.
Excuse me. There you go.
Oh my.
So, well, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very, very well. I've had a beautiful couple of days. Had a great Thanksgiving, and hi everybody. Good to meet you, Ruben.
Yes, sir.
I went to some friend's house yesterday, and we talked shit about the government and ate incredible food.
Always nice.
Played a little music. Yeah, it's a beautiful. I have a really, really good life. Yeah.
There's something to be said for Texas. I mean, Peter and I have talked about this on on occasions, and I know I've talked. Texas seems to be this haven for the awakened, for the I mean, I could sit here and list a whole bunch of people: Peter, Carrie, Nerdrotic. I mean, just a slew of content creators from different backgrounds and interests and everything else, and they're all gravitating to Texas.
And before that, I mean, you had even bigger names like Rogan, Elon Musk, you know,
Yeah.
and these people all came and brought their industries and brought their influence into Texas. So there is something to be said about that.
Well, I
miss it. I want to go back. I've only been there once. So
yeah, well, I would have brought up Rogan and all those other guys, but since they're trying to work their way up to our level, I don't want to I want to make them earn it.
They don't got shit on this.
Exactly. There you go. So.
Agreed. Well, I think we needed another cultural hub. We've had New York and Hollywood for as long as we've had it.
Yeah.
And those institutions no longer serve the greater good. So, let's build outside of that.
There you go. Okay,
Florida's heading in a similar direction as well. I know Miami's kind of booming right now. My friend Caitlin's over there, and she's involved in the art scene and stuff. And there's a lot of creative juices flowing in that area as well. So people left. They left New York, like you said. They left those places. They left LA, and they're like, let's take our talent and our money with us and put it somewhere else. And that's why we're seeing that kind of switch happening over to Texas and Florida, becoming these sort of cultural hubs.
Right. And that's what I hope that Florida is on its way. I kind of see it so far as like Florida is like Austin 20-30 years ago, where like it's still kind of underground. There's still people over there, but like, not that it's going to take 20-30 years. But it's fun here. So I'm glad to be here, you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Like I said, we're glad to have you. So, all right, favorite foods during the holidays, particularly Thanksgiving, for you.
So I would say turkey, but only the type of turkey that my dad makes. My Puerto Rican father, the way our family makes it, which unfortunately I missed it. They live over in Cali, but it's you brine it with vinegar and. We always call it slapping the turkey the night before, where you kind of baste it in
turkey,
vinegar, garlic, like a lot of onion, and like this. I can't remember, but it's very different than any turkey I've ever had.
And you're not brining it, just to be clear, you're slapping it.
Okay. Exactly, and it's very soft and very tender and just very It's a cool little tradition we have in our family. So outside of that, stuffing is incredible. I doubt this will get back to the beautiful friends who I was with last night eating an incredible meal, and it was good. But I do have to defend canned cranberry sauce. I do have to defend just a little bit because I had the homemade shit.
It's the texture for me. I made homemade cranberry sauce this year. It was my first time. A little too tart. I should have put less of the orange juice or peel in there or whatever. But the canned stuff for me is nostalgic. One, because I'm poor, so we would get the canned shit. Two, it's the jelly texture of it. Mm-hmm. I like that texture. It's all jelly. Like it's not liquidy.
Right. Having the little floating cranberries is fine, but like the orangey, citrusy flavor is like tangy, and it's not. I don't know. There's something about the other thing we were talking about yesterday.
Too tart. I feel like the canned stuff is sweeter for sure.
Right. We were talking about it yesterday. The other poor people food that I will always defend, no matter what, no matter how high class they want to make it. Kraft mac and cheese is fucking phenomenal. I know it's nothing but plastic, but fuck it. Give me that shit.
Give me that shit.
It's so good.
Oh man. Yeah, I agree with you on the canned cranberry sauce for sure. I think that will always be something, no matter how rich I am, it's going to be in my pantry. I'm going to whip it out.
Right.
Well, there you go. All right. Now, we've all been sharing like traditions or Black Friday stories, both good and bad. So, you grew up in Cali, what was Black Friday like where you grew up? Any stories where somebody came back with a knocked out tooth, a black eye, scraped elbows, arm in a sling? I mean, what are we talking here?
No, the arm in a sling stuff. Usually, I mean, I have 3 brothers, so we were just hellions. But as far as like Black Friday, I don't know. It wasn't really a part of. It's never really been a part of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when your family got together at Thanksgiving, what traditions did you guys have? I mean, these were the things you knew this would happen on Thanksgiving when we got together.
We definitely prayed.
Okay.
And we definitely went around the table and said things we were grateful for. I do have a bit of a, I mean, it doesn't seem like you three would necessarily, I don't know you, Ruben, but it doesn't seem like y'all would have a problem with some slight cornballishness. But I do have a thing with some of my anarchist followers and people I follow. You know, I saw one guy that I follow post yesterday, like some meme about like, no, you don't go around the table and say what you're grateful for. I believe you get punched in the face if you did that, blah, 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 like a joke. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why not? Why the fuck not? Are we not allowed to be grateful if we're anti-state? Is that what we're doing? If anarchists have to wear black clothes and like, you know, it's not a phase, mom.
You got to be edgy. It's not edgy to be grateful for things, Peter.
Yeah.
Fucking, I mean, how do we maintain our spirits mentally, whether we believe in a god or not? Like, how do we maintain our spirits if we're not maintaining our spirits? We're in a fucking crazy fight up in this bitch. We're not gonna like connect with family, be grateful, have some sort of higher power, like take care of ourselves.
If you can't take a moment to sit down and list your blessings off, what the fuck are you even fighting for anyway? Going through all the other bullshit.
Exactly.
You have to be able to take stock of that stuff for sure. It's why you keep going.
Right. Yeah. So we would do that. It was great. Yeah. I have a good family. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're all about cornball on this channel. You hung around me long enough to know, man. So I mean, you know, there's nothing too cornbally that you couldn't put out there that we're all sitting there going, we accept this. Yes, that's nice.
You missed the story that I mentioned to the panel regarding Thanksgiving dinner with my grandfather starting when he said pass the roll, and it was literally pass foot the rolls. So we had this big table, so we'd throw it at each other. So that was like Christmas,
like a
Thanksgiving.
Football, you mean?
Yeah, it was a Thanksgiving tradition where someone said, "Can me the mashed potatoes, hand me the butter. Can you get some stuffing here? Pass me a roll." Open up, wide open. It was funny. It was just. Yeah, it was fun.
And you found out who in Ruben's family had the good hands and who didn't real fast. Exactly. Let me tell you. And somebody got on mom's bad side in a hurry after probably like the first tossed roll. Yeah, the first
roll. You dropped it. Damn it, Butterfingers.
It never ended up in the gravy dish or anything. It never ended up in grandma's hair. No.
We knew what we were doing. She just says, "Be careful." Anyway, whatever. Because my grandfather started it, so then we started it because he did it. He's the oldest there, so it's like, wow, if it's okay with him, we'll do it. Shit.
So everybody had a lot of zip on the fastball, basically, is what you're saying. You know, there wasn't any of this. It lands in the gravy. It doesn't.
No one threw like a girl.
Well, that means you got to carry on the tradition, Ruben. And next time you have your big Christmas gathering, make sure you got those good rolls and you're ready to start.
Yeah.
Do you guys already have like a family of your own? I don't know if you've got a family, y'all, or I mean,
I'm a faggot.
Yeah, I know. Daniel's a faggot, so he doesn't. But if you had you and your cats and Brent, like who would you? But like, it's the only pussy Daniel gets. But but would you? I'm interested, like, because I've been contemplating, like, you know, I'm no longer seeking to get. I wouldn't say I've retired, but I'm no longer seeking notches in the belt. And I'm feeling like ready to like find like the one. I don't know where the fuck she is, but you know, whatever. She's taking her time, but she'll come. And so I've been like thinking, okay, well, what do I want to implement into my traditions moving forward? Is there anything that you would maybe want to do?
I mean, no matter what my like future family looks like once my parents are gone and my grandmother and all that stuff, I would like to keep the holiday stuff going. I do enjoy that. Just because of the nostalgic things. Actually, I think Ruben's story is a really good reason. Like little shit like that, like, oh, we used to throw our rolls around at the dinner table. Like that's what the holidays are about. So I think you want to keep those traditions together for that reason. So yeah, I mean, once I have my own family in the future, if that ever happens, even if it's just me and my cats, I'm putting the tree up and doing it just for the sake of tradition. And like I was telling Brian earlier, with all the shit that I've been going through in my life, this year I've been doing it almost as a sort of rebellious act.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to let the demons win. Like you're
Right.
not going to ruin my
Yeah.
fucking Christmas this year, you goddamn fucking demons. Like I'm going to put the tree up, fuck you. Like So to me, that's kind of what makes the traditions important too, is there is almost something rebellious about it, although your anarchist friends might disagree.
Well, with me, I mean, some of them are my families, and some of them I have borrowed from others because I love them so much. One of them is we are going to pray before every meal. We will stop to give thanks. We will remember why we're doing this. The other is we make sure we pass down to some member of the family the knowledge of how to make certain items of food for these dinners.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because it's very easy to get in the habit of, oh, this person makes it, and then they never take the time to either show someone else how to do it, because to me that's as much a bonding thing as anything else.
On that note too, though, even if you never get the moment to do that with your grandparent and mother, like make sure you tell them to write that stuff down. Like I had my grandma write down a lot of her recipes. You know, she wrote like a little memoir over the last couple of years. But one of the things she included in the end there was just certain recipes of things that she used to make.
Well,
so
now that,
if you can get a record of that stuff, people get that record from your elders.
That works only in the assumption that the chef can tell you
put details
how
in there.
they do. Yeah. Well, I'll give you a perfect example.
As long as they don't have one of those blogs though, where they're giving you an entire life story before they just get to
agreed. But all things
recipe.
All things being equal, here, I'll give you a perfect example of how this could not work. My sister is a product of the country that she grew up in, not America. I mean, living out in the country. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother, was one of those cooks that could walk into a kitchen, take whatever she's got, and make anything that'll make your mouth water. Ask my grandmother Lizzie how you do it. Oh, a pinch of this, a little of that, a little something else.
Oh, that's the ancestors. That's you're channeling the ancestors.
I don't do that.
Like, oh, how much spices are you putting in there? I don't know. It's just I feel it out, and
it tastes right.
The ancestors say that's how much you need.
Yeah. So my nephew's wife, who is a lawyer, so they get together in the kitchen for the first time, and she's working with my sister, and this story still cracks me up to this day, because this is when I knew my niece Shayna got an introduction to how our family operates. So they're in the kitchen, and my niece Shayna looks at my sister and says, "Gina, how much of this do you put into it?" "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know? Don't you measure it?" She's like, "Hell no, I don't measure. I don't measure anything. I couldn't tell you how much of something I put in there. I just put it in until it tastes right." You know, and how it tastes right is that's when my sister will know it's there. When she can taste it and go, I can serve this. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Write it down. But if you've got one of those chefs that couldn't tell you how much of the measurements go into everything, that may or may not work, dude.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
in principle, I absolutely agree with you.
I mean, it helps to have the teacher there, right, and show you the actual thing that they're doing. But what I'm saying is the next best thing you can get, if that person is ever gone or you simply don't have the time, like a record. If you could have some kind of record to at least know approximately what they were doing, that's better than having nothing left over.
Exactly.
I'm also, I mean, look at me, I'm the books and ephemera dork. I want a record of everything. Like, so if my grandma has a recipe, I'll be like, write it down, please, grandma, so I have a record of it.
Now there is one more, to go back to Peter's question, there's one more tradition that I when I first got my house about 5 years ago, and I started hosting dinners here, particularly the Thanksgiving dinner, we played Alice's Restaurant. And if now Peter, this is now Ruben, you're the music expert. Refresh my memory. Is that not an old Arlo Guthrie song?
I don't know.
I know it's not Woody. It's Arlo Guthrie did a song years ago called Alice's Restaurant, or it's Alice's Kitchen, one of the two.
Okay.
Well, hello, Mr. Christian Watson. Good to see you, sir. He did a song years ago called it's like an 8 or 9 minute song, and it tells this crazy story about a Thanksgiving dinner at a church, and it's the most ridiculous sounding thing you've ever heard. And I've got friends of mine.
Really quick, I pulled it up. Alice's Restaurant. Massacre, commonly known as Alice's Restaurant, is a satirical talking blues song by singer-songwriter Arlo Guthrie.
There
It
you
was
go.
released in 1967, and
Yep.
the album was also called Alice's Restaurant.
Alice's Restaurant.
It says it's a song and it's a deadpan protest against the Vietnam War draft in the form of a comically exaggerated but largely true story from Guthrie's own life. While visiting acquaintances in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, he is arrested and convicted of dumping trash illegally, which later endangers his suitability for the military draft. The title refers to a restaurant owned by one of Guthrie's friends, artist Alice Brock. Although Brock is a minor character in the story, the restaurant plays no role in it aside from being the subject of the chorus and the impetus for his visit. It inspired a film by the same name from 1969.
Yeah.
And he starred in it, Guthrie, and he like changed things around in this story. I'm not familiar. I've never heard the song.
So this now, did I know the anti-war background story on it? No. Am I surprised by that? No. But the song is absolutely hysterical. So the first Thanksgiving dinner I had in my house after we finished the Amen on the prayer, flipped on YouTube, and for the next 9 minutes that song's playing in the background. Everybody's looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I went, yeah, this is just something I do in my place. So there you go. So yeah, we're going to play Alice's Restaurant at Thanksgiving dinners.
Well, there you go. That's good.
One of your traditions. Yeah, and Ruben will be passing the rolls. Incoming. Hike.
I think I want to kill a turkey.
You want to? Yeah.
So
I've been thinking along
hunting.
those lines too, Peter. I know I know Peter's going back to the roots lifestyle, and you've been doing all that.
No, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, because I want to get I already envision it: goats, chickens, and bees. Yeah, those are the three things: like goat milk, goat cheese, chickens and eggs, and honey, and then utilize that.
No bacon.
And I've been reading a lot about different foods. Like Joe Rogan, basically, he mentioned the fact that he talked to some guy out there, and it's those shorts they have. Have you had blueberry meat? And I went, what? Blueberry meat? It's from bears that eat blueberries, and it's really rich in all that stuff. So I thought about it. Well, if you feed the no, it's fine. It's just like it's a joke I do. If you feed your chickens not hormones but like grass fed, or feed them something that's really good, if you feed them the good food like a pineapple or a blueberry, imagine the quality of chicken you'd have, the quality of the food you'd have, the quality of your milk. And because again, as I'm trying to naturally heal myself, and Peter, you didn't even know about this. Basically, 2 years ago, I was over 650 pounds with some tumors all over my body. And I basically went undiagnosed my entire life. And I figured it out just because I did my own research during, lockdown and bullshit, and figured it out what was wrong. And I'm clear. And I've lost since the beginning of this year, 225 pounds just by meditation and thought, and the food I'm eating is only made by me. I know the ingredients. And and then again, for Thanksgiving theme, I thank my mother because she was a cook. She loved to cook, and it was very important for her to do that. So that's why I said, you know what? I was given this gift of loving to cook, and just like Brian said, I don't know what the ingredients are. I put in there what it's like, but I do write it down now. When people like say, when I say here is some soup, I call it a healing soup. I always call any food I give to people, I call it, here's some healing soup. Here's a good steak with all has love in it. I say that to them. It's supposed to make you feel good, and they eat this, and they're going, wow. And here's how.
Really quick, sorry to interrupt. I actually have to go. There's something urgent that I have to tend to right now, which is very important. Brian, thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Well, before you split out of here, where can people find you? Where can people find you on social media, dude?
My handle's right here at Dan Delafay, and then you could also follow Dangerous Rhetoric at Dangerous Rhet on Twitter and Dangerous Rhetoric on Instagram. Yeah, I hope to be getting back to that more once my other stuff in my life is settled. But
brother, go do what you got to do. Thank you for hanging out with us. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Later, guys. See you, Peter.
All right, big ass,
brother. Yes, sir. No, so that's the whole idea, getting all those ingredients together, and then making something that's going to be healthy. And I'm doing that too. And I'm basically introducing different foods now, because what I'm trying to do is I can't even say the word. Is that
Autophagy?
Yeah. I'm trying to have my body eat myself. So I'm eating those foods that do
Right.
that, and it's working. And
Right.
and again, I can't work out, but thank God that in the beginning of November, I was telling everybody else that prayed Peter that I couldn't walk, and then now I could walk because my hip cracked opened.
Mhm.
Was all of the tumors are shrinking, the nerves are re-healing, and it's about healing. So that's another thing you're grateful for. And then the other thing that Brian doesn't even know this. I looked up right now when I was doing the pictures of Christmas. The last time I played my horn, which is right here, was January 1st, 2017. And I had been diagnosed 6 months, and it was my last hurrah, basically. The last time I played. And I'd always said, one day I will play again when I start to healing. And then last night, for the first time in 18, 19, 20, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 7 years I played. And I basically say, I found some old music, Christmas songs. And then I said, you know what, start playing. So basically this year for the holidays, I'm going to play my horn again.
Beautiful.
That is
French
a
horn.
horn.
I come from a long tradition. My father is a trombone player. He plays every type of horn and wind and whatever. But yeah, old Puerto Rican trombone player and composer and horn arranger.
Oh, nice.
Badass, yeah.
Yeah, and this one is this, and the thing is, I'm grateful too, because this horn is the epitome of horns. There's only two of these. There's only two of these in the world.
Really? Why? Isn't that a French horn?
This is silver.
Really? Why is it? What's the difference? Audio wise.
Has a more brighter, warm tone, and it's handmade.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Good handmade, hand engraved, all that stuff, everything they did. So
can we get just a quick note?
Oh my God!
Yeah, come on, man! If you're gonna pull that thing out, let's go.
I can't do it. It's 7 years. My God.
I know, it's awesome.
But I am going to play some stuff. So yeah, but I just, I haven't played. And the thing is that my muscles are still weak. So I have to start to get my range up again.
Yeah, but embouchure, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's very weak right now. But so that's why I want to start doing this again, because ladies love a good strong lip. So that's exactly why. Because and for those people out there, it's a compensating triple horn. There are actually 3 instruments in here. This is longer than a tuba.
But it's not it's not called a French horn.
It's a horn.
What is it?
Its proper name. It's a what is it? It's a triple compensating horn. Because basically the way it works, it has 3 sets of valves in here, 3, and it has 5 levers, 3 in front, 2 in the back here. And I basically call it low gear, high gear, and then in between. So again, it's 3 horns deep. You can't 3 horns deep. And it's an amazing instrument. And it's $25,000.
Yeah, good Lord.
But again, and that thing is that if things go down a darker path, I'd have to sell it. But right now I'm not.
Good.
So that's where I am. So I'm giving it one shot more. Let's go out with a good bang or continue to go on. But I want to get the tradition of pulling out music, playing it again, and having people around it never happened, but I want that to happen. I want the tradition of having music. And I used to do it where I would be the one that right before Christmas time or Christmas Eve would say the Twice on It Before Christmas, all dressed up in a suit and tie and then the pipe and everything. I would do the whole spiel and then read to the kids and all that stuff. That's the things I want to do are all about good stuff. It's not about the consumerism. It's not about the religiosity. It's about family and it's about tradition. And that goes beyond anything that's consumerism wise. So it's again,
Well,
you know.
Well, Ruben, I was going to say, I mean, I can't tell you what to do with your channel, but when you get to the point you're playing regularly again, you need to start putting that stuff on your channel, my man. That
Yeah.
The few notes that you played there, I mean, I'm no expert on music. You guys obviously are, but even to a layman, I can tell that horn has a unique sound to it. And honestly, you need, like I said, if you want to
see that,
you should be putting this stuff on your channel, man, because that thing's going to just absolutely have a beautiful, beautiful sound to it.
Yeah, you go. Wait.
Yeah.
I just looking. I read the notes and I put it there. Okay. And again, I haven't played in 7 years.
Wow.
Question. I notice, and maybe this is just because you're on the live stream and so you're angled at whatever. So it's not straight on like a normal. Like when I see a trumpet player or a trombone player,
most people will play like most people will play like this. Most people will play like this.
Yeah,
which is wrong. Because I teach music too. I'm classically trained. So for me, I bring the instrument to me. I said, bring the instrument to yourself. So I put it here. And again, whoa.
We can still hear you.
I hear you.
You're good. Yeah, you're still good, dude.
And the thing is that you put your hand in the bell.
Right.
You hold it. It's like this. You put your hand in the bell.
Okay.
You play it like this. And you're going, what the hell? You're blocking the sound. No, it's basically it's basically you have 6 points of playing on the horn. You use the valves when you're playing the notes, and it's basically 3 different instruments: an F horn, a B flat horn, and a high E flat horn. But the majority of the notes are produced, or the tones are not produced by any of the valves. Mm-hmm. It's produced by your lips and the other hand. Mm-hmm. Basically, when the horns were first introduced in May, because the horn is the oldest, it is the oldest instrument at all. But before drums or whatever, but it's the oldest instrument, and it's played without valves, and you only use this hand to do stuff. So that's how it works.
Brian, similar to like when you see somebody with a plunger on their trumpet, like they're playing a trumpet, but then they put that's same side.
Yeah, that's the same principle. The hand is what does it, and it basically helps with the color, everything. That's how it operates. So it's a very interesting prospect, and again, people will say, then why are you doing it like that? That's old style, because it is a very old style of doing it. That's the tradition. It's the horn tradition. You do it. You finger with the left, but you're really playing the instrument with your lips and this. And the horn is the hardest instrument to play, because when you play a note, that note I played to you is an octave above the range of the horn. But that's still a normal range. And the way to describe it is basically it's like playing on a tightrope. Each note is a tightrope, because again, you're not playing. You're not on a horn. You're not playing the note. You're playing the overtones.
Okay.
All horn players play the overtone, and that's why it's so difficult to hit those notes, because they're so close together.
There is a little bit of like, it's more on board, or it's easier. Like when I play guitar as an example.
Yeah.
And so there's at least frets there, right? I can obviously there's a lot you can do with
fretless, and there's
fretless, but violin or a fretless bass, it's much more kind of in the wind. So and I know that there are certain tunings you can do to a lot of those, it's a little loose. Or when I used to play alto sax when I was a kid, I would, if I was a little sharp, I'd push my mouthpiece in or out. I can't remember. So you could adjust it. But are you saying that in that type of horn, it's much more
more complex?
Fluid?
And there's you can tune it from here. This portion get longer because it has a little thing here. Each it has one here, and then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 valves here. 9 here. Nice. And then 2, and then I just play it through here, and you can do a whole scale going up just your hand. Yeah, you do it that way, like there. I can't play it right now, but that's the whole idea. And then now for me, it's all about, now that I have this, I want to play, see if I can get my lips back. And so I won't, and then check how I feel. And then know, okay, can you go further? Can you go further? Can you go further? Because I already know when I returned to the horn, in 2014. That's why I basically said, you know what, I would buy this instrument. So this instrument took like a year to make. And then they made this, it's handmade. And again, the way they make this, even the bell, this bell is handmade and it's beautifully done and it's silver. So it's like, and then I had a few people, other famous makers want to look at this horn because they want to copy it's because think about it. All of the bends, it goes from, I can't see it. All of the it's so tight, the tolerances and everything, all of this within here, see how intricate it is. And going all handmade, not machine made. And I'm going, wow.
How long did it take the manufacturer of that horn, if there are only two of them in the world, how long did it take him or her to craft that? Just curious.
About a year.
Wow. Holy
and again, it's a small shop in Germany, and the guy has about 20 people working for him. And then basically it's the old school way of doing things. It's not one guy knows how to make the valve. They have one guy who knows how to build a horn. So they have craftsmen and apprentices, that the whole master apprentice thing, that do these things. And that's why I want to take this extension of the horn next. And I've already talked to a horn maker and designer here not in Germany, Georgia. And he's an American guy, a friend of mine. And I told him, he says, you know what, after I get healed up, I want to go down to your shop. I want to spend like 6 months or a year apprenticing with you, because I want to know how to build a horn, because I want to use that skill, not for metallurgy, because I want to basically like build a water tank and do stuff too. But I want to have not only practicality, but artistry, and bring it back. So that it's like, again, I want to basically I want to build my own refrigerator, freezer. It's like there are designs out there you can do it. Why not learn a skill or relearn something? If I saw somebody out there that wanted to learn the horn, learn it. If you want to do something, there is nothing stopping you. Even if, and you facing cost maybe to stop you, just buy a mouthpiece and then practice that way. You have to, and again, for piano, there are a lot of people out there that can't afford a really big piano. They get a simple piano. Learn something, learn a skill, learn how to speak. Like I want to learn or relearn Spanish, because I know Spanish. I want to learn, because again, I want to learn Argentinian and Uruguayan Spanish and Portuguese, because that's a plan B thing going down there. But again, that's all I did. And then again, be able to communicate with people, cook for them, learn different foods, going to different regions, doing things. Right. And that's what I'm saying. If I go to an Indian store, I go to a Filipino store, I go to a Chinese store, I go to a Japanese store, that's where I get my teas and this and that. So I can learn these things. Never stop learning. Be thankful. Be grateful. It's not about, hey, I want to go buy this. No, I want to learn this. So that's why it's like, pick up a new skill. And that's where I'm saying, hey, if you want to learn something, if you want a teacher or a mentor or someone to help out, the only thing now I really want to get out of it in life is to have a new life. That's why I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move. I talked with Brian about this too. I'm ready to find a place to live. Maybe south. No, definitely south, because I want the sunlight and feel and continue to get healthy. And that's what I want to do. And I am now poised and very determined to, by mid of 2025, hopefully to be around 170, 175 and look like Jason Statham and kick some ass. Right. I'm going to do that. I'm going to battle back. Because again, that's what you want to do. You have to set goals. And again, nothing happens overnight. Nothing is given to you. You have to fight for it every day and be grateful of the fight. And again, you would say, if you heard my story, the fact that a year ago in the summer, I was homeless. I'm still homeless now, but I was like, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. I didn't want to go on. Everyone just said, give up and go on disability. Just do it. And I said, no, I'm not doing this because I still have a brain. I still want to work, and I still want to do stuff because I never worked for anybody as a W-2 employee. I've always been contractor or subcontractor or incorporated with other people. And that's what I want to do again. But I don't want to, again, this goes to the idea. I don't want to do it for them. I want to do it for us. And that's what I want to do now. I want to basically say, let's do this because they don't care about us. And the whole point of Thanksgiving is we are family here. Let's love each other. Let's support each other, and let's build each other up and not tear each other down. Yes, constructive criticism is good, but we come together and celebrate this day and this season for what it is. Whatever's out there may want to put you down, want to make you feel bad. But while you're here right now, while you're listening to good people coming together, spreading the message of love, happiness, and a brighter future. I really appreciate being here.
Congrats,
Brad. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like I said, when I got the idea for doing this stream, it's like there's a million and one things we could talk about that's going on in the world. I mean, Peter could do it, I could do it, Ruben could do it, Daniel and Brentley, when they're getting together on Dangerous Rhetoric, Tracy can do the same thing. But, every so often you've got to take time to rebalance. You've got to take time to put your hands on the touchstones, the old landmarks, to remind yourself of why you are, who you are, where you've come from, and, those great traditions that make each person in the world unique. And that's part of what this weekend is all about. And this live stream is all about. So, I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys, as we've got some time left. I mean, let's go around the board. I mean, what are the things you're looking forward to, not just for the end of this year, but I mean, for the beginning of next year? I mean, Peter, I'll start it off with you.
So I've decided, through a lot of inspiration and a lot of help, that I'm going to be working on my second album.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's great.
And, my first one was in 2019. The oldest song on it was from 2011, I believe. It was an old song. But that was my first one, and it had long, I was mostly just performing once or twice a week in wine bars, getting my performance chops up, which I still have. It's been not a lot of performances over the last few years, but here's the last few years, when I moved initially at the beginning of the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, I moved to New York, ready to do music, jump in there and be competitive and all that stuff. And then the pandemic shut New York down, and I went to school for audio production, and I graduated last year, second in my class. It was great, blah blah blah. But it hasn't been a ton of opportunity or inspiration, honestly, for me to create music. I released something back in May. I released something back in November of last year, but just like one-off songs. And now I feel ready to really get to just book studio time and just say, fuck it. I'm setting aside time for the muse. I'm setting aside time for me and God to sit in there and be like, all right, what do you want to do? And just start and stop. And I don't want to be precious about it. And don't get me wrong, I'm very artistic in my everyday life. I make memes. I do my podcast. I do what I do. And I'm grateful for the artistic avenues in which I communicate and create. But now it's like, nope. Yeah, it's time. And so as a form of New Year's resolution, and as a form of a new way, because I've got a lot of, compared to what I used to be. No, I do. I have a lot of fans and followers now. And so I'm like, you know what? This is this avenue of creation, and that a lot of people don't know me for, and I'm good enough for them to know me at. and so I'm going to start creating. And so that's going to be, I don't know when, but I'm going to start working on it next year, and it's going to be great. I'm very, very, very excited about it.
Great.
Fantastic. Songwriting. I mean, I have no experience with it other than hearing the stories about people who have actually sat down and done it. I mean, one of the funnier stories I've ever heard is when the late Glenn Fry and his writing partner Don Henley would get together, and the last major well, I won't say the last one of the ones when the Eagles finally got back together, Henley sits down with Glenn Fry in the studio, and Fry looks at Henley and says, "Well, what do you want to talk? What do you want to write about?" Because and they were both nervous. They're like, we hadn't written songs together in years, and they're like, so one looks at the other and says, "What are you thinking about?" He's like, "I'm pissed off." So Glenn Fry says, "What are you pissed off about?" These people go on these reality shows. They're complaining about everything in their life. Yeah. I just wish they'd get over it. And hence that song came about. They start, if you go through the lyrics of that song, that's basically the conversation they're having in a studio together, and, I mean, so yeah, the fact that you're going back in the studio and doing an album is fantastic. When that thing gets done, you let me know and I'll shout it from the rooftops. I will do everything I can to promote it in whatever venues I've got available to me. Cause, we talk all the time, going back to our regular subject matter of our podcasts of, the alternative economy. Well, there's also not just the alternative economy, there's the alternative culture.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be promoted. It needs to be, as much as possible, let people realize, hey, there are alternatives to what, mainstream media or mainstream music or mainstream film is putting out there. And we need to show people there are very talented, creative individuals that are not part of that scene, however you want to define it, and they're making material that you ought to be paying attention to. So yeah, when you get that thing ready, you let me know and I'll just shout it from the ramparts.
Will do, sir. Thank you.
Ruben, what about you? What's coming up for 2024?
Oh my. Well, basically, like, I'm going to be hopefully doing some stuff with you for the election.
Yep.
That's a big thing. It's important. And, that's the most important thing. And I want to start doing other things because, again, I have decided, and I've talked to you about this and a few others, that
Yeah.
for 30 years, I've been a consultant for companies. I've done work with McDonald's, with United Healthcare, with Ford, with, who else? Bank of America, all these things, a lot of things throughout my career. And I basically made a decision in January that, you know what, they're telling me to do something that I want to do. I can't do because it's changing files. And we're living in that whole, like, make the exception rule. Let's be a team player thing, which I have never been a team player. So I said, this is it. I'm leaving. I'm going to do something else. And then I got sick. And I was literally in the hospital with major pain. They wanted me to change some files. And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm here trying to heal up. And they're doing this. So I said, no. So for 2024, and so I've been telling people now, I want to be a producer. So if somebody basically says, I need something done, I'll help them get it done, technology-wise, idea-wise. And I've been doing this. Like, somebody last night basically said, I'm having problems with my podcast. What I got to do some changes. So I basically gave him some advice, some free advice, get a schedule, be consistent, have this, you have to do these things. And I told him, here are your shows. Here is, in my opinion, why people are not watching, why people walked away. You're doing these things, do this instead. And they're open and receptive. And in the end goal, what do I want in life? It's going to be the reverse Thanos. I don't want to snap my fingers to have everything go away. I want to snap my fingers to have more fruitful and bigger things out there. So that's my goal. And on top of that, what's my end goal too? I want a piece of land. I want a little hut, not a house, not a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. I want a hut that has exactly what I need and runs off of the sun, the wind, and solar that I build myself. And I'm already doing designs for it and all that, because I want to just have my chickens and goats and be happy. And it's not about money anymore. It's about wealth, and wealth is knowledge, and wealth is knowing that my heart is good and I've helped others around me. So it's basically 2024 is a year of love for me, to give back and to help others, and then to find that woman who will embrace me, take me in, be a partner, and then we can have a life together. If she can have kids, so be it. If she can't, so be it. But we're going to have fun, and that's the whole idea. In 2024, it may be a very, very dark time outside, but inside, I'm going to be the light and the sunshine, and that's what I'm bringing to us here, and that extends out to everybody. Just like when I make a food, and I'm giving it to you, it's my love. Have the food. This is I'm talking to you. This is my love. I play my horn. This is my love. Be a person, be a vessel, be something of love. So it's 2024 for me. It's continue to love myself, heal up, and be better, and be a better man.
Well, there you go.
Right on.
There you go. For me, I've been doing this now for 8 months. It has had, it's kind of like that old Frank Sinatra song, "That's Life." I've been up, I've been down, I've been over, I've been out. Unlike Sinatra's song, I've learned more than one thing. After 8 months of doing this, my channel I've been blessed to see it grow with people who are, not just beyond me, who's invested in seeing it succeed. They're spreading the word. I mean, I've had Peter give me referrals for people that I've had on my channel, and I've had him on, I've had other people on, I've had Ruben on, I've had all kinds of people, and I've met so many fascinating people from different backgrounds, genres, and it's been a blast. And I'm going to keep on doing this for as long as I can pay the electric bill and keep the internet going, and my tin can and string operation here doesn't fall apart on me. So, for 2024, most people who know my content know I cover politics and culture. And next year is, 'tis the season, as they say, given the stuff that I'm interested in. So, Ruben and I are going to be doing some live streams together. When we get to the Texas primary, Peter, I'm probably going to wind up inviting you on, because daggone, it's going to be fun getting your take on what's going on in your now home state. So that's going to be a hoot. I want to see what I'm doing here grow and get better, and not just from the standpoint of numbers. It's, that's part of what this is, but it's not. I want to provide a quality product that people are like, I need to get his take on this. What's he think? And, part of what this is production. Part of it is, equipment. Part of it is just knowing what you're talking about. And like I said, for doing this for 8 months to see where it's grown to already is just awesome. Seeing where it's going to grow to next year, God willing, is going to be just amazing. And I'm looking forward to that. And in the meanwhile, meeting more people and interesting people. I mean, Peter referred me to Elizabeth Galusho, who, unfortunately didn't win her race for city council in New York City. But, it's like, God, there are still people out there that want to make a difference where they are, in whatever place they find themselves. And I'm like, that woman's story was inspiring to me. She had an invite but wasn't able to make it. Jessica Finsky out in Colorado. He's a mutual friend to all of us. Her story was inspiring because she wanted to make a difference where she was. And, I want to see those kind of conversations happen. I've got some folks that I'm trying to line up. Hopefully it'll happen either next month or January, that I can have those kind of conversations with. And they're not just political. I want to talk to, I sometimes ask myself, why do you invite the people on that you do? I invite people on that have intrigued my curiosity, and I want to learn more about why you are the way you are. What's making you tick? What's making you, what's driving you to be and do what you are? And I'm going to continue to try and have those kind of conversations, be they in the realm of politics, or be they in the realm of culture, or be they in the realm of anything else. So yeah, it's onward and upward, man. I cannot see. I want to see this thing really grow and get really, really good. And it's just that close to happening. So 2024, you're my year. I own you. Before we ever get to day one, I own you. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So
all about that self-belief.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because, it's like, someone said to me one time, it's like, don't pat yourself on the back too hard. And I said, well, yeah, I've got to, because more often than not, I'm the only person doing it. So, there you go. But yeah, fellas, I want to thank you for being here. This has been a load of fun. Yeah. Thank you for sharing stories about your Thanksgiving and your traditions, and, how you have or have not survived Black Friday, or what it meant to you and your family. But yeah, where we go around the horn, Peter, where can people find you on social media? Where can they follow what you're doing? How can they best help support you and what you're after?
If you want to listen to my music and my shows, I would just go to Spotify and look up Peter Feliciano. My music is on there, also on iTunes, that album. You could also find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano, on X at Rule62Peter. Excuse me. And then I have a weekly show, roughly, called Conservatish. Brian will eventually be on there as soon as we get the schedule right. But it's I speak with activists and comedians and similar type of things. My show is much more foul-mouthed, I would say, probably, than Brian's. But we all have our own special, this is the Super Friends is what it is. It's the Super Friends.
Right.
You wouldn't ask Aquaman to scale tall buildings in a single bound. You wouldn't ask Superman to talk to dolphins. We all have our strengths, right? So mine is being filthy, as well as, but anyway,
you do it so well.
I really
hold my beer. Just kidding.
Right. So my show is called Conservatish, and you can find that everywhere podcasts stream.
All right. Ruben, what about you? Where can people find you? What can they do to support you? What can they do to help?
I'm on X and Instagram at RubenHaines.com. I'm sorry, Ruben Haynes, more on Tom. I have it I have a YouTube channel. I have two YouTube channel, my main channel, and then I have a channel called My Weight Loss Quest. I put up my videos out there regarding my weight loss journey, what I'm doing. In about 95 more pounds, I will be launching at 250. When I hit 250, I'll be launching a new channel called Alt-Right Fitness. Just to put it in there. And it's only going to be about me working out. And the theme will be red, white, and blue. Be a man, get it out there. But it's going to be done in a kind of a cheeky way to doing it. But again, I'm going to have fun. That's the whole point. Because I'm going to go from 250 to that Jason Statham body. I got to get it done. So I want to do parkour. And I want to do the videos of me like trying it and falling down and having fun and being a knucklehead. Because again, it's all about now 2024 and beyond living my life. Is again, I basically am not just onto a new chapter. I'm onto a new book. I literally have nothing. My possessions are gone. I said, I don't want the old world, and anything I get now, it's not about, I want a bright shiny new phone. I want the brand new car. I want to, oh my God, look at that. It's an old 67 truck. I can fix it. I'm going to do it. I'll do it. I'll make videos of me fixing that thing. Because again, it's having fun, fixing old stuff, and fixing this old guy here to be the man to do it. And then of course, I'm putting it out there, I want to find love again and do it a traditional way, to court a woman and to be a gentleman and bring back that aspect of being a gentleman again, treating a lady with respect, and again, above all, for men to respect themselves and to know their value, because right now men are not being valued. There's a crisis of people men especially committing suicide, men not feeling good about themselves, and women being marginalized. And we want to change it around so that people can know that don't let anybody dictate how you feel. You need to be strong and believe in a brighter tomorrow. And I'll end this with one thing. When I was 15, I said this to myself: today is the best of my life. Tomorrow will be even better. And again, if I am sick in bed, it's an ice cream and bomb day and a movie day, Netflix and chill day. It's not about I'm sick. No, I'm healing. And again, when you're down, and remember that when you feel down and feel sad, no, don't let that get it down you. You have an emotion. But know that tomorrow will be a brighter day. And if it isn't, keep fighting for it like I do. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. Again, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. For my part, my name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Rumble. I'm on Twitter at the Front Porch Seed #1 or 1. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with Front Porch Brunch, where we'll be diving back into the news. But like I said, for today, we're celebrating family. We're celebrating traditions. We're celebrating everything that, brings this time of the year together. So from everybody here, for me, gentlemen, hang around for a few minutes. We'll say some proper goodbyes. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us on Black Friday. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we will see you later.